just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Friday, February 2nd. I have a shadow on my chest. I don't love that.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not your fault. It's my fault.
Just you're a large human being.
The way I set the cameras up the way I set the lights up is my fault. We are 14 days away from the start of college baseball. LSU baseball announced today that there is a tailgate, like a fan fest type festivity being planned for the first day of the college baseball season, which is not next Friday, but the Friday after. So 14 days away. That starts from 11 a.m. That's from 11 to 2 prior to the game starting. So should be a fun time. Obviously, it's gonna be fan friendly. Gonna have a lot of activities going on there. But we're getting closer. Scrimmages are starting to heat up. We're working on this thing. It's not the lighting. It's this. It's the lights that I have.
Oh, okay.
That's going right on the mic. We have a lot to talk about. A lot more than you would imagine that we have to talk about. It is Friday. It is Feel Good Friday. It's Fun Friday here at Cars and Culture in Perkins Row. Like I said, the scrimmages are starting to heat up a little bit. We have 2 weeks away from the start of college baseball season, so you're going to start seeing some of these pitchers start to get extended. You're going to start to see them get a little bit more comfortable. You're going to start to see these hitters get a little more comfortable. Saw that yesterday. Obviously, Tommy White, 2 for 3 with 3 walks, hit a homer in the scrimmage. Paxton Kling had a grand slam. So you're starting to see some guys do some really good things. Pitching staff has been pitching pretty well throughout the course of the fall. So it's going to be entertaining. So looking forward to having that start because we need some more things to talk about. It's Pro Bowl weekend, flag football weekend. You've started to see some of the things. I like the chipping competition that they have.
Yeah.
I like the chipping competition. They had a punter almost nail one, almost made a hole in one. He got it pretty tight. I think it was about 4 feet. Good shot. I think it's they're doing to the Pro Bowl what they needed to do. Just make it entertaining, make it fun for all of the athletes. Football is not a game where you just need to have an all-star game. So I think they're doing the right things there. More information has come out about the Alabama betting scandal from last year, which makes it sound way dumber than it actually was, right? Like, I mean, the guy making the bets seemed like he got real excited about having some inside information. I mean, I can't imagine that the baseball field, the Major League Baseball stadium in Cincinnati, has ever received a $100,000 bet for a college baseball game.
That's where the rub is, right?
Like, hey, I want to give you $100,000 for this bet. Well, that's too much. Okay, here's $15,000. Let me show you why. Here, look at my phone. Basically, what he said. Hey, he's telling him how if you knew the information I knew, you'd make this bet too. Blah blah blah. This guy got a little excited, overzealous, and then, obviously, things happen. Now, penalties were assessed and given out. 3-year probation. I'm guessing that's illegal probation, right? Like, for like a prison sentence, right? Not a prison sentence, but you get probation, right? $5,000 fine, which that seems a little light. 15-year show clause, and this is what I don't really understand.
15-year what?
Show clause, which
Show cause.
Show cause. I say clause. Cause, which I guess if O'Bannon is hired during that 15-year period, he is suspended for 5 regular seasons. So if a team hires him in those 15 years, he can't coach for the first 5. So which means no team's going to hire him.
Yeah,
I would imagine
he's
that's
not coaching anymore.
No, I would imagine that's what I mean. For 15 years.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's a, whatever. And then the SEC Big Ten, the 2 power players in college football or college sports right now, mainly college football because that's kind of what everybody's been talking about. They formed a group, and it is they formed a joint advisory group to help with the changing dynamic that is college athletics, aka college football. So we're going to get into that. I think that is their way of positioning themselves to run the committee or run whatever committee that they're going to create for college football.
They call me crazy. I think we're going to look back
Crazy.
in like 20 years or forever, and everybody within like this 5-year span of what is college football or college sports right now, and everybody's going to be like, wow, I wish I could have played during that time. Because what's being thrown around and the money that's going around, it's just, it's not going to continue this way. And everybody's going to be like, God, that's unbelievable.
This is, obvious. Like, you knew this was coming.
Yeah, of course.
When you're seeing college coaches jump to the NFL at a higher rate than they've ever done before. Everybody can say, oh, it's college football. It's professional football. That's where they want to go. That's the ultimate goal. For some people, yeah. But you don't normally see college offensive coordinators, college defensive coordinators, You don't see a ton of head coaches going to the NFL every year, right? This year, Kentucky's OC is about to go get an OC job in the NFL. You get defensive coordinators going. You're getting more college guys being more open to the idea of going to the NFL. And I think a lot of that's because of the dynamic of college sports. I think a lot of that's because of the NIL. I think a lot of that's because of there's really no regulation. And so these guys are like, well, if I'm going to have to do this here in college and I have to deal with basically a GM, I have to deal with basically a budget on what I can go get or lack thereof a budget, and I got to go and re-recruit my players to come here, and I got to go out and get these I got to do all these different things. I'm just going to go to the NFL where I know that they're on contract and I don't have to re-recruit my guys on my roster every year. There's a certain amount of guys you're going to have to pay in free agency, so he's like, screw that. I'm going to go and do this. This is too much.
It's also the perfect time, too, where, like, those guys, the NFL is looking at, hey, man, let's get this young wave in here and let's really roll that through. And, it just so happens that there's a lot of younger-ish coaches in college that are like, hey, these are the opportunities. Go take them because they're giving them. Hey, there's a 36-year-old head coach that's about to be a head coach somewhere next year.
No
Like,
doubt.
they're giving it.
Right. And to me, it's just, I think that shows where college football is right now, right? And I think that, you know, I don't know if all these guys are going to have all the success in professional sports. It's a whole different type of game. But you're saying more guys take the chance and jump at the opportunity to go maybe sooner than they would have in the past. And I think that's going to be something to continue to watch because, I mean, the OC for Kentucky is going to the NFL, right? Like
Liam Cohen.
That's crazy to me. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why?
I think you just laid out why.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I know, but like, I mean, you never used to see that. It wasn't like Kentucky had this prominent offense.
They scored
in
30
college.
points a game last year.
I know, but like, I mean, there's a lot of schools that did that. You know, I mean, there's a lot of offensive coordinators out there that did things that he did. I mean, I know they were good. I know it was at Kentucky, and I did it with the guys they had. And I understand. I'm not saying he's not a bad coach. I'm just saying, when was the last time you've seen a college offensive coordinator for a team that didn't really win anything go jump to the NFL?
He is getting the call because he is from the, take a guess, of one of two young coaches that are in the NFL.
Kyle Shanahan tree.
Next one.
Mike McDaniel tree.
McVay
Well,
tree.
he had to have a
McVay.
McVay. I meant to say McVay.
The McVay tree. So he was under,
Sean
that's where he
McVay.
got his. So this is how it used to work, right? You would be like a positions coach,
Right.
analyst, whatever, quality control on the offense in the NFL. And if you were somewhat tethered to a successful offense, you could try your luck in the NFL. I mean, in college football, where you get an opportunity where, like, all right, we're trying to pivot to this new thing with Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, where you have these young coordinators and the even younger personnel staff that are learning from. So college football was plucking those guys. Now, with all of the change that's come with college football, it's gone to the inverse, where they're just like, I'm sprinting back to the NFL, whoever will take me. And he's got enough contacts in the NFL.
No doubt.
Where he's able to get an opportunity. But that's why I get what you're saying.
No,
like,
and I get that, but he's not the only one. Right?
No.
There's a lot of others.
the Green Bay defensive coordinator.
Was that?
The Green Bay defensive coordinator.
No doubt,
Head
right?
coach
So
at
you're
Boston
getting
College.
a lot of other opportunities, and you're getting a lot of guys that are just taking these opportunities. In the past, they just wouldn't take them, right? They really weren't interested in their college. You're gonna have I guess my point is you're gonna have less college. Hey, I'm a college guy, than you used to have in the past.
Well, because it's exactly with the Boston College situation. Like, that coach would wait until a big time Power 5 job would open and be like, all right, I'm a head football coach at insert one of these schools. And now it's like,
I don't want to do that.
College, like,
I don't want to do that.
I could go to the NFL and not have to worry about any of this. I'm leaving it behind.
I'll also push it too, like these younger guys that are on the college, or just any guys that are on the college scale of things, is, hey, if I have success here and there's an opportunity for me in the NFL, if I go prove that, there is a very fast track to being a head coach type there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there isn't this long wait where you got to be coordinators or whatever for a long period of time before you get these opportunities. These guys are getting opportunities quick. They're getting opportunities young. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I try that if that's what I always kind of thought I had the ability to actually do anyway?
Yeah, it feels like the landing spot has changed. It used to be like, some people are built for college football, some people are built for the NFL, and you've just never seen.
Flip it back. It used to be Saban was getting the young job. It was the young coaches that was getting the young jobs like that in college football. And now it's flipped to where those guys are getting that job in pro football.
Yeah, and that's like, to your point, that's where you get some of the windfall, because the NFL dabbled in this since, I would say, Sean McVay probably, where it's like, oh, a young, innovative 38-year-old
By the way,
coach.
Sean's been a head coach for 6 or 7 years already. Just really
that's
think about
crazy.
that. He's still not 40 years old yet.
I know.
And he was threatening to leave to go to the booth, and then he got paid. And now the new youngest head coach is the former Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, gets a head
36.
job. 36 years old.
Means we were all in college together.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. And I don't feel like I'm old, but like, you start to see these guys that are getting these jobs in the NFL at 36. I'm like, man, maybe I gotta start carrying myself a little differently.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I mean? Carrying myself like I am, like, old. You know, like, not old in the sense of like, oh, I'm super, like, I'm like 50, but like old in the sense of like, hey, just because I'm 34, hey, I carry some weight now. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta walk around like you gotta walk around like you own the place.
It's crazy too, because he's got, this is literally what we're talking about. Do y'all know where he was 2 years ago for the first time ever holding that job? 2 years ago. He was at Michigan as the DC. First time ever being a coordinator. Then goes to, obviously there's ties in the Harbaugh family, right? Obviously. Then he goes to Baltimore, does the same job. 2 years later, after getting his first coordinator job, he is a head NFL football coach.
Right.
Really think about that. That's crazy.
Crazy. And look, there's some guys that are.
And I'm not saying a word about what his actual ability and our talent is. You just used to never see guys getting those opportunities at that age, at that level.
Agreed. Right. And you have some guys who are kind of on this helium track, and they get these coordinator jobs, and they jump for a year or two, and they go get head coaching jobs, and they are awesome. And they are the guys that you expect them to be. And then you got guys that do it that they were at the right place at the right time. They had the right people around them. They had the right team around them, and they just jumped into this
wind tunnel.
Rocket ship to the top, and they really weren't as good as maybe people thought they were, because they had a lot of other things around them, and when they got removed from those situations, they really weren't that good. And so you kind of have it on both ends, and but you're seeing it happen more often now, because one, NFL teams are more prone, more open to taking that chance, and two, the way college football is being structured right now, these guys are kind of just saying, I'm over it. I'm just gonna move. I'm just gonna get out of here. I'm just gonna go try.
Yeah, and to the defensive coordinator becoming a head coach for Baltimore, Jesse Minter, the former Michigan defensive coordinator, was also the defensive backs coach at Baltimore. So they essentially, while he was a defensive coordinator, Minter was the defensive backs coach at the Ravens. They switched spots, and they both end up in the NFL as one a defensive coordinator, one a head coach.
Right.
All in the Harbaugh tree.
Right. And the Harbaugh tree is a real deal.
Yeah, J.J. McCartney, first-round pick.
First quarterback taken.
First quarterback taken.
Is what Jim said.
He's going to trade away.
Don't be shocked.
Herbert.
Well, he's not going to be able to. The first quarterback's going to be taken way before that pick.
No, he's going to trade Herbert for the first overall pick.
That would be a
Take
mistake.
McCartney.
That would be a mistake.
Harbaugh runs the thing. Get your guys in there.
That ain't happening. You don't take that job just to get rid of your quarterback who's been good.
Run it back with all of Michigan.
Yeah, no, ain't happening.
Just like the Eagles are just playing football with just Georgia Bulldogs.
Speaking of, before we move on to other topics, Saints offensive coordinator deal. They're just not going to hire one. You don't think? The longer this goes, the more it makes me feel like they're going to hire somebody within that organization. And it's going to be like, Jesus, here we go.
I have a long-standing theory on this that might be proven true, because Chip Kelly.
I would love Chip to get there and him take the head coaching job. Is that what you're saying?
No. Chip Kelly is rumored to be taking some jobs, or looking for jobs within the NFL community. He wants to dart from UCLA. He's been floating his own name out there for like 6 months. Not the Chiefs.
How do you know this?
Because it's been on the newswire for a long time. They were talking about it.
Like the actual newswire, or like the newswires sometimes that you.
No. This has popped up far too many times for it just to be me.
Okay, no. I'm just sometimes your news,
Yes,
the
in the
wires
dark web.
that you have are sometimes they're crossed, or sometimes they are duct
Disconnected.
taped together. Yeah, you don't know.
But this is real.
Okay.
And the rumor is the Commanders have reached out for him, so that would leave
To be the OC?
Yes, that would leave Bieniemy on the outside looking in, and he could land. I think he's from New Orleans. He could land for the Saints, which wouldn't actually be a bad choice.
No? That
You
wouldn't
might
be
have
a
fallen
bad deal.
ass backwards into Bieniemy.
So you're saying Chip Kelly's a head coach, wants to leave being a head coach
To go be
in
a
college,
coordinator.
to go be an offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yes.
So he's that over college football right now that he wants to do that.
Yes.
Wow.
I think a lot of these college guys are over college
But like
football.
going from a head coach to a coordinator, that's a big.
Hey, I don't want to bring it back to that conversation, but these college coaches have never seen a time like this, to where I get you here and I have to continue recruiting you here. Not that I could, quote unquote, hold you hostage like they kind of used to be able to do, but literally have to keep recruiting you here.
Yeah.
That is not, none of them have ever dealt with this before. And I can imagine a lot of them being like, hey, I'm off this.
Well, and
I'm not trying to do this.
Here's what's going to have to happen, I guess. Part of it is part of the new rules when they do is, hey, you can sign here. Here's your 3-year contract for your money, right? You have to sign this. You cannot transfer. You have to honor this contract. That what makes it way more like the NFL. There's no if. There's no. I don't care what the portal says. You sign on these. You want this money? You sign a 3-year deal. That's how you get the money. If you don't want to sign a 3-year deal, then you don't get it for even that 1 year.
You're gonna get a lot of pushback.
No doubt, but like that's for them to like say, I don't want you to leave or you can't leave. You've got to give them a reason or not make them not capable of leaving.
Well, you got to know.
I think it's got to be at least 2 years. Just to be completely honest. Like, you got to be here 2 years. That way, one, you give one spot a real shot, and that way, two, if it's truly not working out for you, there's 2 to possibly 3 years somewhere else. Like, it's got you can't be here for one and just think you could bounce.
You're gonna start, and we talk about this all the time. I hate that we keep bringing up this stuff.
No, this is like
it's such a polarizing topic.
Yeah, this could change college football.
You sign them to this deal. Hey, here's your scholarship. You're coming here. This is the amount of money you want. Okay, here's your 3-year deal. This is what your base deal is going to be. Hey, here you go. You haven't played it down yet. You're a big recruit. We're going to give you some money.
Rookie contract.
This is what you got. And here are your incentives. If you are good and you play, you can make this much.
Thank you.
If you are not, you are making the minimum.
Hey, and even I'll be honest with you, if you did it that way, even if you threw in their social following, and if you can grow that side, go ahead. Like, we could put that in there as well. That should have a monetary value on it as well.
That goes to the conversation we had on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Wednesday.
Okay. Huh?
Wednesday.
Jesus. I don't know. Yeah, it's long weeks. Every day meshes together
over
for me. That's what you're here for. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But we talked about this on Wednesday where
it's like it's Groundhog's Day.
Well, Phil gave us all some good news potentially, but I don't know how good news. He's 36% success rate on his things. I think it's time to retire him.
I'll give you all the information as to why you can't retire.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. But on Wednesday we talked about instead of just throwing money at these guys and saying, "Hey, do this for basically nothing." Let's say, "Hey, listen, we're going to give you a deal. You can get this stuff. You can do your endorsements. You can do your, one commercial or one media thing a year. But we are going to supply you with the resources if you want to build your brand. We're going to supply you with the resources of, hey, here's a guy to help with social media stuff. Here's a guy, he's going to help you with your stuff. If you want to start a podcast or you want to start a YouTube channel or do whatever you want to do, this guy's going to help you do that." And I think it allows you to give these athletes more resources to kind of build their own brand, which I think helps them in the long run for a long time, more than just the 3 or 4 years that they're going to be in school.
And that's going the long way about it. Like, there is guys that's going to show up on campus, absolutely blow up on the field, or something goes viral, and now it becomes a thing. Well, guess what? You'll tap and you'll reach that social following plateau, whatever it is, and go there. And I'm sure they'll be. And soon after they put something like that in play, if they would, it won't take but 2 to 3 years, and there'll be one guy that literally blows all of these numbers out of the water and goes way over what they set parameters for. Yeah. And then now they're trying to refigure out, okay, well, what's the compensation for this? I'm sure it'll always be a sliding scale, but it can't be what it is.
You're basically recruiting these guys, giving them an NIL deal, and also supplying them with a PR person is what you're doing. Hey, I'm going to give you this person. They're going to help you create your brand.
Yep.
And if you've been in Tommy Karam's class ever,
I have.
That is what he talks about. He's probably a pretty good person to do that. Now, you need to get someone to have the social media side of it, but I mean, that's where it's at. Everybody has a channel. Everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's got a YouTube show. Everybody's got a Twitch, whatever. Like, they've all got these outlets. Why don't you give them the opportunity to hone that in and kind of not necessarily control it, but
help them make money off of it?
Yeah. And so I think that's a way where you can kind of separate yourselves as NIL. LSU's have done a really good job of having a lot of publicity in NIL. They have a show coming out on Amazon about the 4 athletes. Was it Angel Reese,
Livy
Dunn, Jaden, and one other person, right?
I don't know who the 4 are. I just knew it was Livy and Angel.
I know Jaden's in it too. I thought there was 4. Oh, Flauget. Yeah. Flauget's in there too. So those 4, right? And so, you're doing a good job of publicizing those, but let's do more. Hey, this is what the image is. We're gonna build your image. We're gonna help you grow your brand, and that, I think, to me, there's a lot of value in that. Something I'd be interested in if I was an athlete. You don't have to do much. Let this person just control your YouTube channel. Show you how to let me create stuff on you. It's basically a fan page.
And if you're LSU, if this thing doesn't get figured out quickly, you're going to have to start worrying about the staff that you've assembled and how, I mean, it's young and you wanted it to be young because they have the energy and the wherewithal and they love recruiting. If it continues to be this way and you do land top recruits, and then you're starting to play in that arena of, I'm going to leave after a year, I can go get more money somewhere else. And that's when LSU could have a staffer be like, I'm going to the NFL. Like, you could see Sloan going, I'll go be a quarterback's coach for the Bills.
Right.
Like, this is a headache. It's not worth it. I've put out enough tape.
Like, we sat here and we created a great rapport. You played a lot. I didn't know you were pissed off that you got in 11 games this year. You're not going to play the next year. And now you want to be gone. Like, what did I come here for? I thought we were doing well.
That's what happened with Kevin Steele. He was on Feinbaum yesterday, and he said that, he's like, I'll give you an actual account of what happened to me. He's like, I went to –
Who said this?
Kevin Steele, the former DC for Alabama that retired also. He's like, I'm out of this game. But he went to he was talking about a personal experience he had recruiting where he's like, I had a kid. His mom sat me down and said, look, we love you. You know everybody's name here. You've been here 15 times. We visited the campus. We love everything about it. You sold us exactly on playing time, how you're going to develop him, get him to the NFL and win a national championship. But you're not even close in NIL. And he's like, I can't deal with that because I'm a coach. We can't negotiate NIL, so there's nothing I can say to that.
Right.
But the bigger problem is that shouldn't fucking matter. Like, we don't – at Alabama, they didn't pitch that. So he's like, we're not even in the ballpark. And it's like, okay, if you want to go – chase a check, go. I can't stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, this thing is a disaster. Yeah. Because the kid's going to a place where he probably doesn't even like, and it's like, well,
no doubt.
Mom going to get $300K this year.
Yeah.
And that's where the, hey, you sign here, you have to have some sort of like commitment.
And outside of the absolute 1%, because believe it or not, that's still what it is in college football, is like you said, $300K, or there's probably 1% that's getting the M on the end of the money value,
right,
and or a couple M's on the end of the money value, right? So it's like, hey, you're going to chase that $300,000. I promise you, brother, it's not going to last you your whole life. And what if they don't develop you? Is that it? Is that where you want to stop at?
Then you're back at the portal and you come to Alabama?
Is that where you want to stop at? You know?
Yeah, and here's the other deal. If you want to go somewhere as an athlete, like as a high school athlete coming here, and you say, okay, well, maybe I do want to go there, but maybe I don't know if that's going to be the right fit for me, or maybe if I don't play, you can not sign the deal and still transfer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to say, hey, I'm going to sign this 3-year contract for NIL, and you can go out there and you can play really well and realize, oh, I like it, and then I'm going to go ahead and say, now I want to sign an NIL deal for 2 years and say, hey, here's my 2-year deal based off of what I did. And to me, I'm not saying that's always going to happen because the money it looks good to these kids coming in, but it's not saying, oh, well, they're hamstringing you to a one deal. Like, no, you just don't have to sign it. If you don't want it, you don't have to sign it.
And you could keep the same transfer portal window in place
for sure.
If a coach leaves, like then you can
100%.
open that so you wouldn't be hamstrung by it. Because that was one of the main points of why the transfer portal opened is like, why are we stuck here if Saban leaves?
Right.
Like, I didn't come here to play for I don't even know who the coach is yet.
Right.
So I want to explore my options.
How about
Which is completely fair.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Completely
You can
fair.
keep that part in place, but the coach leaves.
Right.
But not just, I don't think I want to go to the portal.
How about the OC at Alabama now, maybe going back to be the OC for the Seahawks? Or did he take the job?
No, he's still rumored to, but he's from, obviously.
I know. He came from Washington to be to follow DeBoer to Alabama. And now he's about to go back, but he's going to go to the NFL, potentially. They say he's a favorite, right?
That would be the third coach to leave. And he's followed DeBoer everywhere. They went to Fresno State together, went to Washington together, and went to Alabama together. But when the NFL phone rings,
no doubt,
you'd be leaving your guy high and dry.
No doubt. Oh, this is
Tommy Rees on line one
to go back to Bama.
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine DeBoer has a pretty.
You think he'll ask him?
No, I think that.
Where's Tommy Rees gonna go?
I think he's just in the wind. I
Maybe
mean, he hitched himself to the Saban wagon.
Coach Island with Belichick and all the boys.
Belichick, Vrabel.
Yeah, that's crazy out there.
That's crazy that those names are still just chilling.
Yeah.
Oh, Cleveland Browns tight end coach.
Tommy
Rees?
Rees. When did he get that gig?
Tight ends
2024. Coach? Yeah. He hit the ground running. January 22.
So last week, 10 days ago.
Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him.
After they announced the OC, I'm sure he's like, I guess I'm not going to be it. So
I may be late to this, but the Chargers OC got moved too, didn't he?
The Chargers OC was Kellen Moore, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
Where did he sign anywhere else? Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
but he is gone though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I
once
thought
the
I
head coach
thought
went
it.
on.
Yeah, but I thought I saw that. I mean, he could. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw.
Did they get rid of him in mid-season?
No. He was there the whole year. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I was like, I'm pretty sure.
And they requested an interview for Marcus Brady, the Eagles' offensive coordinator. He doesn't want to. Obviously, he can't
Who?
take Michigan's. The Eagles' offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady.
How about Ben Johnson not taking?
I thought it was Sean. Not Desai. Marcus Brady was the Eagles' offensive
That's what it
coordinator.
says on the internet.
That was not the Eagles' offensive coordinator this season.
Chargers request to
No, it was the
interview-
Johnson guy.
Ben Johnson was with
Ben
the
Johnson with
Detroit.
Detroit.
No, it was a Johnson guy that what's his name that Jalen Hurts had been knowing since his childhood. That was the quarterbacks coach I think the year before. Was the offensive coordinator this year.
He got fired. Replacement for Brian
I know
Johnson.
that's what I'm saying. So you're saying
Yeah.
the new guy, yeah, but say that was not their coordinator this year.
I don't know, but
Johnson was their coordinator this year during the season.
Yes.
So did they just get someone else?
I guess he's just on staff. I don't
Okay,
know,
that's
or
my
they were
point. Well,
co-OCs.
the way you said it was if like he was, it was like he was not the coordinator this year.
I just read the headline.
I know,
Yeah,
but the headline was deceiving. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. To request interview Eagles Marcus Brady for OC.
Eagles
Okay.
Marcus Brady for OC, so it
yeah.
wasn't their OC there.
Right.
He was just on staff.
Okay.
There you go.
And then Johnson
There you go.
is no longer a coach for the Eagles. He
Right,
fired
Okay, that's what I thought. I just
OC
wanted to
and
make sure.
DC for
But
Sirianni.
Ben Johnson for
Stayed.
for the Lions said, "I'm not going to take the head coaching job." Stayed, turned down. I mean, he's one of the hottest guys out there
Apparently, they didn't want to meet the money request. Both of the teams.
for sure, and that's
Which means which shows me he probably didn't even believe in the situation. It's like, hey,
I'll
you
talk.
better pay me.
no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
for him, it's like, listen, I know how good I am as a coach. I like where I'm at. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't need to hurry up and jump to the NFL. Somebody had tweeted about this the other day when this happened. It was Sean Payton did the same thing in 2004.
Oh, with Dallas?
Sean Payton was in Dallas, and he turned down a bunch of head coaching jobs because he didn't feel like he didn't like them. He liked where he was at. He liked the situation. Didn't feel like maybe, they were the right fit. And then he ended up taking the Saints job 2 years later, and ended up being the right fit. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very good. It's like a very self-aware move.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially with the landscape of the NFL right now. Like, you just had Staley at the Chargers. He was there for 3 years, gone. Sirianni was on the hot seat of the Eagles after going to the Super Bowl. They wanted to fire him. Like, that's just the temperature of NFL head coaches. If Shanahan would have lost that NFC Championship, his stove would be hot.
Well, look at all these teams that had coaching vacancies this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This
The
is their.
turnstile
They've had
keeps
multiple
spinning.
coaching vacancies over the last.
So why would I go
10
to a
years.
trash franchise that's just looking for an answer
Right.
to buy when it's like a get-rich-quick scheme? It's like, no, we're
Yeah,
building
let me-
something in Detroit.
I want to find somewhere where they're going to set me up for success, where I know that we can. They have a good core group there that I know that I can come in there and do it.
And if not, pay me.
Right, and even if I don't know. I think the money. I don't even think that
Oh no! If
mattered.
you're going to a shit job, like
Yeah, I
gotta
don't
pay
even think
me
that
a
mattered.
ton if you're gonna and I want it all guaranteed. So when you fire me, I still get all my money,
Yep.
and I can
Yeah.
go back to Detroit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
And they know they got a good thing going, man. Like, if you want me to leave, like, I'm going to be here next year and we're going to be successful. Or I could leave right now and we be trash and I just get shit on as if, like, I was the beneficiary. Maybe
Right.
I am one of the ones that's actually driving this ship and that's making this thing go the way it is. So give me a good situation or I'm staying
yeah.
here.
And maybe he didn't like the situations and with the upper management too. Maybe it
Maybe,
didn't have nothing
yeah.
to do with the players, like because he saw what Detroit did with Dan Campbell. Hey, listen, you're going to come in here. You are our guy.
Yeah.
We are committing to you. We know it's going
Run
to
this
be
how you want.
We know it's going to be a process. First year, 3-13.
Yeah.
All right. Look, we had Hard Knocks. You're out there doing the rah-rah stuff. Everybody kind of thinks it's a joke. Nobody really knows about you. We committed to you. We believe in you. Boom. Next year, 7-9-1. Right? Isn't that what they were last year? I
But
think.
went like 8, like ripped off like 8 straight at the end of the year.
Yeah, back into the year they played really well, and you could see it. And then you're like, okay, you go into this year with a lot of hype, the most hype Detroit's ever had. Not say ever had in a long time.
Long time.
Then they come into this year and they go 13-4 or 12-5, and they are right there at the end of the season to try to make it to the NFC Championship game. So, no, to make it to the Super Bowl. They lost last week.
Yeah, they lost last
in the
week.
NFC Championship game. Yeah. So you're
Was up 17
one
points
play
at one
away,
point.
basically,
Yeah.
for going to the Super Bowl. And so the fact that their ownership was like, we're going to believe, we know this is going to be a process. And I think maybe Ben Johnson said, you know what? I don't have that feeling from any of these guys because they haven't done it yet. Atlanta didn't let Arthur Smith do it. Like, you know, Washington is a shit show. You have all these LA, like they already knew their guy probably, but they're not. They just got this guy, young guy. He's supposed to be the dude, not the dude. Didn't let him go. Now I think he was the wrong pick. I think he
was a
forced his way out.
quarterback in college that turned into a defensive coordinator, so he coached with the quarterback's mindset from the defensive side, and that's why he was always like going for it offensively. Like that was his call. He's a big analytics guy, and they
didn't work out.
I think they lost the most one-score games in his tenure. Like.
Yeah, but I feel like the Chargers always did that.
They did. They've been doing that since Phillip Rivers put it in. Maybe even since Drew Brees was there, we didn't even realize it.
Right.
I do think sometimes a lot of these coaches that know they're about to be or on short list and their quote unquote teams, meaning like their agents and their management and stuff like that. I do think they sit down and they look at kind of like a 2-year window. Like, hey, these are the possibilities this year, but looking at teams, cap space, all this stuff. This is also what's possible next year. So, like, if you really don't love these spots, this might be here next year. So, like, you stay here, you put another good Lions team and offense out. These are the possibilities that could possibly be out there next year as well. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? I do think that they do that. It would only make sense.
Walk away from Jahmyr Gibbs, Sine Poole, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jared
Goff, who's been a great leader for you.
Right. Like, I feel like I'm pretty set over here. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm going to be all right. I had another thing I wanted to bring up, and I just dropped
It happens.
blank. We're talking about the NFL. We're talking about a lot of these coaching moves. We're talking about what's going on. I'm not going to get there.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to get
It's
there.
gonna
I'm
hit
just
you
going
all
to come
day.
back to me at some point.
Probably at 3:05.
You know, no, it's going to come back in the middle of the show because
we talking baseball. Like,
it was
back to the NFL.
it was a good.
NFL never loses.
It was a good.
Where did I put my lighter?
It was a good. You know, it was a good comment. I just don't know what it is.
But yeah, college football's fucked. They'll figure it out.
Well, that's.
I didn't know about.
They'll have to because there's too much money involved.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Big Ten SEC alliance.
That's what I was gonna get to. Like
the last time they tried this was the Big 12, Pac-12, or Big 10, Pac-12, whatever it was. All of the Power 5 teams outside of the SEC had like a handshake deal.
But this is different.
Right.
This is not about conferences. This is about the whole of college football.
This is how they're going to form the super conference.
Yeah, but regardless of the super conference or not, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like you knew that with all of the movement and all of the fluctuation, all of the volatility they have right now in college football and the unknowns and just kind of the Wild Wild West, this was bound to happen, and I'm glad it's happening because I think it's necessary. Now, are they going to do it the right way? Who knows? I know what I was going to say. I got there. Still the NFL. We're talking about all these guys. We're talking about culture, all this stuff, offensive coordinators. Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah.
Restructuring his deal. Looks like he's going to be there for a few years.
You knew that was coming, though, right?
No doubt. But
you knew the restructure was coming, and we knew he was there. Like, they were married for at least, another year, maybe 2 years?
Next year, right?
Right.
It. And then now they're restructuring it, so now they're going to be married for 2 years probably after that, so 3 total.
You had to get under the cap. This is how Money
No doubt.
Mickey works.
That's how you do it. And now you say, okay, we're going to commit to the quarterback. Now they don't commit to him, and they say, okay, no, we're not going to restructure it. You have this big cap hit.
So you know what that means, too.
Now you stink next year because you can't do anything, and then he's not good, and then all of a sudden now you're in a way worse spot than you were. At
Sorry to kick it to you all of Louisiana. You know what that means as well.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels like
You can just go ahead and get that thought out of your face right now.
Yeah.
That's over.
Now, I did see a mock draft that had the Saints drafting Brock Bowers.
I've seen that.
I would love that, I think.
Doesn't address anything that's really.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. But
As great as a player he is, I'm just like.
I would like an offensive tackle.
Yeah,
But-
Ramczyk doesn't have a knee.
Well, Ramczyk doesn't have a knee, and
Andres
the guy,
Pete
Penning is just apparently not good.
He didn't even make it on their jumbo package on the offensive line.
You had 2 offensive linemen out for the game, and he still didn't play. That's
To SaintsDraftPick.com in the first round.
Well, it's usually the opposite end. Usually the offensive linemen that they draft hit. Usually.
Yeah, it's usually the D-line.
It's usually the D-line that hadn't really panned out. Peyton Turner came back last game of the season, got a fumble. Recovery.
I think he blocked a field goal 2 years ago against the Falcons.
I mean, he's just always hurt. And to me, it's not that they've missed on the defensive line picks as far as talent. They've missed just because these guys are just not on the field. Can't stay healthy. You know, I mean, Peyton Turner's barely played. I think they just missed on Trevor Penning completely.
Played mean, though.
Played mean. You drafted him
Marcus
in the first round and
Davenport.
played your left tackle, and you didn't. But they do need offensive linemen. They probably need some more defensive help. You know, right now, I think they're probably going to try to trade Marshawn Lattimore, I would imagine.
They're going to restructure his deal to make him more tradable asset.
And then Michael Thomas, obviously, is
Let's say they need a
He's a
number.
free
They need a
agent.
number
He's gone
two
city.
receiver
free
too.
agent. So he's gone.
And you don't have an offensive coordinator to help you in this process of
No, now, do they think A.T. Perry is going to be a guy they can count on next year as a big body other receiver? I don't know. They're going to go out and get a wide receiver. You know, but look, you look at the NFL and you look at some of these successful offenses, they all have 2 tight ends. What?
breaking from Schefter. Perth. Shout out to Stephen Miller. Thank you for sending me this. Saints are working to hire 49ers passing game specialist Clint Kubiak as their offensive coordinator per sources.
Is that Kyle Kubiak's son?
Yes. Kubiak would join the Saints after he coaches his final game with the 49ers in Super Bowl LV3.
Maybe that's what they were waiting on.
No deal can be finalized until after the game.
Maybe that's what they're waiting on.
Oh, Clint. Gary Kubiak is the
Gary,
coach.
what did I say, Kyle?
Yeah.
Gary.
Gary.
Kyle sounded like it was right.
All these young coaches getting signed. Here we go with
Well,
all
it's
this-
not Gary. It's
all
not
these-
Gary. Clint's young.
Clint Young.
Clint's young. Clint's young. If they hired Gary Kubiak, I'd have a problem with that. But Clint Kubiak, okay. So look, this is another Kyle Shanahan tree, which I think is a great deal, right? I mean, you've seen what they've been able to do with Brock Purdy. And speaking of, what's your take on Brock Purdy? I didn't think I was going to talk this much NFL today, but
It's
we're
okay.
just
Super
talking.
Bowl is close. It's
Yeah.
nigh. Brock, gamer. Like, I think it's kind of a double-edged
I
sword.
think he's way more than a game manager.
Oh, I think he has.
He won the NFC Championship game.
Yes, and I think that's what you saw. Is like he gave you a little bit more where he can extend plays. He's more athletic than you thought just by looking at him. Like he's very unassuming. Obviously, doesn't say a lot. You don't get a good read on him. But from what you saw in the NFC Championship when he had to do it, and this is what he continually does, he's big in the clutch spots, and his pulse doesn't really change.
I want you to remember, before he came out of college, 2 years before he came out, he was projected as a first-round pick.
You know
There's
what
a lot of hype around him.
You know what bothers me about him is they keep people that are quote unquote off the Brock Purdy train. They keep trying to say that it has nothing to do with his draft class or where he got drafted and all of that nonsense. And they keep trying to say, oh, he's got this and that and that and this on his team. And I go, man, I do remember a time where there was a young Joe Burrow in year 2 and 3 in his career where he had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, and all of this. All Pro Bowl, all type talent on his team, and nobody ever shot Joe down. And no, dog, I'm not saying that Brock is Joe. But my point is like, if he was not drafted where he was, there is no way in hell that anybody would ever be trying to say that he's not what he's doing right now. You just wouldn't be saying it. And if you want to look at it in the sense of, does he have Mahomes' arm? No. Does he have Lamar's speed? No. Does he have Justin Herbert's size and combination of both? No. But that's not all of what playing quarterback is. Watch the guy play. You got to stop sitting here talking about all of these and that. He's still the one distributing the ball. He's still the one that got to get it to him.
No doubt.
I'm the
So,
man
like,
with
that's
the
just
ball in my
crazy.
hand.
Like, I know a lot of quarterbacks that are all-world talent, and they don't distribute the ball the way he does.
I think he gets painted in a bad light because of what the 49ers did, so they wouldn't have to rely on him.
Did y'all
They
hear the
traded-
story? Did y'all hear the story that the acting owner or CEO kind of came out with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Before the year started,
before they started, 2 years, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Or was it this year?
It was Brock's rookie year.
it was rookie year.
His rookie year.
2 years ago.
About Shanahan and all that conversation. Like, and just for anybody that doesn't know, before the year started, a weekend of training camp,
Same year they drafted Trey Lance.
same year they drafted Trey Lance, who they traded up for, who they gave a ton of money to, who they had a $20 million other $20 million quarterback on the team as well. A week in the training camp, Shanahan goes to the owner and says, "Hey, look, I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to make I'm not going to make any depth chart changes and everything's staying the same, but I think the best quarterback on our team is the third quarterback. Just letting you know."
Yep.
And they didn't. He admitted that if you remember correctly, during the year, you had Garoppolo that started, you had Trey Lance that came in. Boys got hurt, and it just so happened that Brock got a chance, right? But he didn't try to make changes to push him ahead. He didn't try to make it a fuss. He let it play out. It played out, and it's played out the way it has. And we see the way it is. So everybody's thinking like, oh, he's just some beneficiary of what's on the team. We could say the same about them because obviously – these guys are looking better that he's the quarterback now than when they had the $20 million quarterback or the quarterback they traded up for.
100%.
And another part of the Purdy experience is because people, first of all, I don't think they want to believe that he is this good. So you point to the weapons, and then you point to the trade with Trey Lance, and like you gave up all this equity where one of those picks was used to get Micah Parsons, which that has to kind of keep you up at night. But with Brock Purdy, you can also, they'd say, oh, he's good with all of his weapons, and then they point to, oh, when he didn't have his left tackle and Deebo Samuel, they lost 3 straight. And he was concussed. But like players go on skids, and I didn't have my full complement of weapons. Yeah, left tackle and a one wide receiver is kind of tough.
He's still in year 2, man. Like they were acting like he's a
graded
7-year
on a
vet.
ridiculous scale.
Like he's on a 7-year vet on a second contract, and they already have $60 million allotted to him. And they're like, oh, I don't think he can do it. He's not that. He's on year 2.
Yeah.
Like, give the man some respect.
He's gonna. I would willing to bet if he goes and wins the Super Bowl this year, he's gonna get an extension at the end of the year.
They want to keep this window open.
No. They'll keep the window open. They won't give it to him this year. You'd be crazy. Why would you do it this year? You don't have to.
Because you can get it to him for cheaper than you can get it to him in 2 years if he keeps doing this.
I mean, if he does it 2 more times, I think they know they're gonna have to pay him anyway.
Yeah, you'd rather win 2 more Super Bowls than lock up.
Like you would rather win 2.
What I'm saying is this will be so he has at the end of his 4th year, they're gonna give him his extension. So it'll be a year earlier, right? So it'd be their owner's way of not having to pay him as much as it would have been. Hey, here's a deal. We're going to give you a lucrative deal, but it's still going to be priced at whatever. Now, he probably won't sign it, but I wouldn't be shocked if they offered it to him.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I think that's more of a baseball model than it is.
Yeah.
Football doesn't do it as much. Football kind of lets you get to that expiration or whatever.
But, it'd be a way for them to say, okay, we're gonna lock him in for 5 years at a way smaller rate instead of having to give him $300 million.
Or they would let him walk.
But I don't think they want to do that either.
I don't think they do, but I also do think that there's probably a good bit of that front office that says, as much as we love every single thing that we're seeing right now, don't be a prisoner in the moment and go and make a decision that maybe next year you don't like. Like, what if? Just what if? Like the small percentage, even though we believe everything we're seeing, what if next year we get a couple dudes hurt and it literally has to be the Brock Purdy show and it can't be?
No, I'm with you.
And then we get to that spot and it's like, hey, we have an argument to be able to go ahead and knock this price down a little bit.
I know the 49ers they're very much about culture, right? And if they feel like those guys are culture, I mean, they're flying their entire organization to Super Bowl, like from interns to the top 1,500 employees. And they're flying them all to the Super Bowl, and they're paying for the whole deal. So my point is, they believe in that culture. They believe in, keeping the people there, keeping the people happy that they believe fit what they want. I'm not saying they're going to, but I wouldn't be shocked if you saw them offer him a contract extension going into next year. Definitely after next year, but because going after next year they have to, unless they want to pick up their 5th year.
Very much contingent on if they win the Super Bowl and how he plays next year. Like you drag this carrot in front of the horse as long as you can. Like Purdy. I mean,
I agree, but you just never know. People. I mean, there's teams that are okay with. I'm gonna go. I believe in him 100%. I'm gonna commit.
I would love to know what the rest of their. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I don't know what the books look like and who's out there and what they'll possibly have to re-sign and or try to bring in to keep the team as competitive. Possible, yeah. I don't think it'll happen, but.
I think they've already paid Warner and Bosa on the defensive end, like big-time deals.
Right.
And then I think they paid Deebo as well. So they're pretty much
McCaffrey
good on that front, yeah. So they don't know how much money they have to play with, as opposed to just extending a quarterback. And Shanahan's done it with Matt Ryan
and that's the other thing.
Coordinator, and he had who's the Greek god that in the Super Bowl?
Garoppolo.
Garoppolo one pass away from winning the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying like I wouldn't be shocked. And I know it's early, but it's one of those things where, hey, look what you've done.
Good
You're
faith deal.
you're very underpaid for the 2 years that we've had you. Here's a, and we're gonna
Make you
obviously
whole.
not gonna give you
$300
top-end
million.
money.
Yeah.
right, but I don't know. We'll see.
Little
but
tidbit for the Super Bowl, real quick.
What?
Little tidbit for the Super Bowl.
Go ahead.
Teams traveling west to go to the Super Bowl location are undefeated in like the last 8. The team that has to travel farther is undefeated in the last 8, I believe. So Kansas City, obviously going farther west than San Francisco.
San Francisco's not going west.
Right. They're going east. So, little tidbit. Put it behind your
Little
ear.
tidbit. Okay. Just to see. Maybe throw a little
Little cheese on the
dollars on there?
Chiefs. Try to
I don't
double
want
up this
I'm not
future.
throwing any money on the Chiefs. I don't want them.
I do. I want them to.
You do? You don't want them.
Well, you're not throwing any money on who?
The Chiefs.
Why not?
'Cause I don't want them to win.
That's why he doesn't have any. That he got no chips left.
I'm just not gonna bet on
Wait,
anybody.
why don't you want him to win?
I'm just over it. And it's not because
Like the American public, baby. I'm tired of him. Get him out of here.
I like Mahomes, and I have no problem with Mahomes. I just
He won the hearts of millions.
I like seeing parity in
Purdy.
sports. Like I do. Like and I think San Francisco is I think San Francisco is probably better.
The 1 seed.
Honestly.
It's not parity.
Huh?
The 1 seed.
I do think San
I know,
Francisco's a
San
better
San
team.
Francisco hadn't won a Super Bowl.
I think they're a better team. I 100% do. And if they somehow find a way to win, then I think we're staring at like another version of Tom Brady. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Like if they find a way, like we never thought they would be here right now. Let's just be completely honest. Nobody thought they would be in the Super Bowl. No, you didn't. You didn't really believe it. I
think a lot of
when?
people thought they
At
were.
what point of the year did you really believe it?
Before the year.
No, him. Before
or
the
the Chiefs.
before the year. You didn't believe that in week 10.
I think a lot of people
I don't
believe
let-
that
I
You
don't
didn't
let-
believe it in week 12.
I don't let that cloud my judgment.
the 49ers talking about?
No,
No,
he's talking about the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, of course
Oh.
you put money on them to start the year. Who didn't?
Oh, I
A
thought
lot
you were
of
talking
people
about the 49ers. all the
No,
time.
no,
I
I'm
did-
talking about the
I did
the
that one
Chiefs.
too.
Well, everybody thought the 49ers were going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Chiefs, and I'm like, I could see, yeah, of course. They were probably had to be one of the top 5 bets of what it is, but once you got to week 10 and 12 and 13, there's no way you're sitting here saying, like, yeah, they'll be there at the end.
The cream rises.
No way.
I mean, yeah, the problem is it seems like the Chiefs, once they get into once they get into the playoffs, they're just Travis Kelce. Now, when Travis Kelce retires at the end of the year,
After he proposes to Taylor
after he
Swift on the
proposes
field,
to Taylor Swift on the field,
and she says no and writes a song.
no, that's not gonna happen. After that happens,
Boise
he
State?
retires. What's gonna happen next year? Who knows? Because I mean, you saw what happened when Tyreek left,
Super
and
Bowl.
then but you only had
He said Super Bowl.
you only had Travis Kelce. The offense. Can't say the offense was great this year or last year. I mean, not compared to what it had been. You had Travis Kelce, but when Travis Kelce didn't do anything, you had nothing. Now you have Rashee Rice doing well,
All the way to the
Starting
Super Bowl,
to do his
baby.
deal. But if you lose Travis Kelce, you lose that guy who's basically giving all your receiving yards.
I don't know. Maybe Rasheed turns into a different
And maybe
dude next year.
Rasheed's been great. My point is in saying this, they went to the Super Bowl, but they went to the Super Bowl this year based off their defense, and they're doing it because of what Travis Kelce's doing in the playoffs.
Turned it back on.
Right. Well, when he's not there, you can't turn it on when he's not on the field.
Sign him again. They got somebody on that. They got somebody on that depth chart, or they'll make a move.
Not Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's going to be the best tight end of all time. So it's not. You can't just say, "Oh, that's easily replaced."
No, I'll figure it out.
You think?
Isaiah
We'll see.
Pacheco, 6th round from Rutgers.
It's a running back, completely
They
separate.
turn stars. That's what they
completely separate position. Like the running back position is a position where you can do that.
do. Kadarius Toney inactive for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he
Super Bowl
stinks.
hero last year.
He stinks.
Don't ask him on Instagram Live if he's inactive and he's hurt.
I'm healthy.
Healthy, baby.
Hey, so the sign.
Kadarius, we know why you're not playing.
Not the reason.
We know why.
You learn a lot of it. Snap the ball.
They don't even want you in uniform this time. Like, we know why.
Stay on IG Live.
Because not only do you drop passes, but you turn passes into interceptions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can maybe tolerate some drops But you drop it and you hit it up in the air and the guy intercepts it and goes the other way. I can't tolerate that.
Whether it's Bush or not, you may be the only reason why Pat had to go on the road this year.
No doubt. No
Whether
doubt.
the call was Bush or not, you may be the only reason why that happened.
No doubt. Speaking of the betting side, let's talk about this. Because Alabama baseball coach, obviously, if you don't know this,
You under
you
a
haven't
rock.
really been paying attention, but I'll kind of give you a summary. Alabama had the head baseball coach for Alabama last year, Brad Bohannon.
Oof.
He got fired for it's not allegedly, it happened, for illegally betting on his team, but not him actually putting money in there. He is calling on a friend of his and telling his friend to place a bet, right? Now, all this came to light whenever Alabama was playing at LSU, I believe. Was it at LSU? Or was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right
so
on.
Alabama was at LSU, and their starting pitcher on Friday, which is now LSU starting pitcher, Luke Holman, right? And Luke had nothing to do with this, right? So he was just a bystander in this whole situation. He was injured, and he was going to be a day of scratch. And Bohannon, before he made the announcement, once he found out that he was going to be a scratch, before he made the announcement, texted his buddy who was in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, which has a sports book there. He texts this guy. He says, "Hey, Hammer. Definitely a betting guy."
Absolutely.
He
This is not
says-
his first rodeo.
He says, "Hammer, Holman's out. Hammer LSU.
My pitcher's out.
He goes, my pitcher's out." So then the guy goes to the kiosk
Bert Neff.
and says, "Hey, I want to bet $100,000
Straight cash, baby.
$100,000 on the LSU Alabama baseball game." And they're like, "Wait a minute.
That's weird. We haven't seen $6,000 go up.
I don't know if we've had $6,000 total in the history of the sports book in this Major League Baseball stadium to bet on college baseball. But you want to bet $100,000 on a game that's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana that you don't even
That starts in about 6 minutes. Huh?
And
Hurry.
And
Huh?
they're like, "Well, we can't do 100,000. You can only do 15,000." He goes, "All right, I want 15,000." And they're asking him questions, and he was like, "Man, if you knew what I knew,
You would take this 100.
you would take this bet, and you'd want to put some money on this." And I'm like, "Well, why would you do that?" And then he starts showing the phone. "Hey, look I'm getting this information from this person." So he's not hiding. This guy got very excited.
Probably a little lubed up.
Yep, he got very excited about the opportunity to make a lot of money on a bet. Hey, I'm
Not
getting some-
opportunity, like it was happening. I know the game
Yeah.
ended up being somewhat close, but it was happening. Like the money was going to be made.
So he makes the bet,
Game
and then
ended 6-4, and Alabama had
did.
the bases loaded.
It did, yeah.
and it
You
all
think
comes
Bohannon
back.
was sweating? I don't know what I want to happen. Come on, coach me up, and we're in here. I'm going back to the dugout. I got to get my lucky spot.
And it all
Probably
comes
could have put a
back to
pinch hitter
Bohannon.
in. Huh?
And it all comes back. To me, like, how dumb can you be?
That's pretty dumb.
Can't be dumber than this person.
pretty dumb.
That was, hey, I'm so excited. I'm about to win this money.
Well, and he was against the clock. We've all been there on the phone whenever you're trying your bet to go through. First pitch is coming, it's spinning, and you're like, "What? Why isn't this working?"
Well, it wasn't even just about first pitch. It was about before them announcing that the pitcher
So the
is
odds
out.
would flip.
But here's my question. Hey, you're going to make this bet, this large bet, probably larger than you've ever made before. You're going to make the bet, and then 5 minutes later, they're going to announce the starting pitcher's out. They're already going to know you fucking knew the answer. They're already going to know that you had inside information on what was happening.
Maybe that's why I didn't feel like he could share with the class.
But if you just at least keep it,
They were going to let you put down $15,000.
yeah, and if you at least don't show anybody or tell anybody where you got it from, then it's a little bit more of an investigation. Okay, let me see the phone records. Let me see this. No, they didn't have to say anything. It was on camera. They saw you doing it. And it was just,
And there's their personal account of you throwing an absolute fit to the kiosk, like pounding on the table and throwing your phone against the glass. Look at what I have. If you only knew what I knew. If you only knew. I'm getting this straight from the coach.
what a
Boob.
this
And-
guy ruined Bohannon's life. Bohannon ruined his own life by
Yes.
this, but like, if you're gonna do these things and you're gonna be risky, I mean,
Find a better.
listen. This is a second conversation we're having about betting that was very loosely done. Kayshawn having his screen name or his betting name as Kayshawn, probably not the move.
It's probably not the move either. Like I feel like you got to know. This is very close to the same thing.
Probably not the move.
Hey, this is very close to the same thing, just in the sense of like, hey, I got this bet. Who are we giving this bet to? Like, Bohannon, do you know who you're giving
Right.
this amount of money or
Do I
information
trust
to?
this guy with
do you
illegal
know
activity?
Do you know who's running around doing this? Like, do you have any clue who's this? Because I gotta feel like if you knew this guy's character, then you would know he would have somewhat in him, not the sense to be able to conceal what exactly is going on. And I'm probably not giving it to that guy.
Bert got excited, and
What's his name?
Bert Neff.
Bert Neff.
Yeah.
Bert
And
got an F.
Bert is facing a maximum of 10 years in prison and $250,000 worth of fines. And I don't know if Bert got that kind of cash jingling in his pocket.
Well, here's the other.
But oh, real quick,
Retribution, baby.
you talk about other people being involved. There was a text thread with 4 gamblers, I believe, on that. Gambler 1, Gambler 2, Gambler 3, Gambler 4. And they were all in this text thread. I don't know if this was just Bert talking to 3 of his compadres, where he's like, I got the information. And in
Or
the
if it was
text,
a ring.
it's quoted like, they're throwing a turd on Friday. Fuck it, let's hammer it. And that was his exact quote that was pulled from the text. And that was also deposed. And he had, after he got his bet in, his $15,000 bet, I'd imagine is all he was allowed to place, he drove to Kentucky and bought a burner phone and trashed his real phone, and then did it again, and they still had all the text messages on file
Oh boy.
From the burner phone?
from the original phone.
Oh, duh. I mean,
He didn't know to switch like his SIM card and all of that.
Oh, he just chucked it.
yeah.
threw it away.
He went old school, The Wire, like Breaking Bad. Let me snap it in half, throw it on my shirt like iPhone dog.
and look, it's not illegal for what's this guy's name?
Bert,
Bert.
Big Bert.
It's not illegal for Bert to say, "Oh, I found some information," I'm gonna make a bet on the information that I found. That's not illegal for him to do. The illegal part is
Your
Bohannon is giving you this information and telling you to go and bet. If you're friends with Bohannon and you're in conversation at dinner and you're like, "Yeah, I don't think Holman's he's kind of banged up. I don't know if he's gonna pitch." And you take that information and you go and bet and you say, "Okay, he's not throwing. I'm gonna go and bet." That's one thing. You can do that. But if you are getting a text from the head coach 30 minutes before the game, he is out hammer, and then
When
you
I-
are texting all your boys,
When I send you
hammer,
the emoji, get to the
Rammer jam.
that's
Yellow
when it
to
becomes
hammer.
illegal. That is insider trading there.
So was
Yeah, that's
Bohannon like in the
definitely what it is.
dugout, like, hold on, I gotta meet Jay at the plate.
Nah, he went,
Well,
in,
this
the,
is-
he went in the
this
hallway.
is-
He just stayed
yeah.
there. He went up the hallway.
This is like right before the game. So like they probably had just finished batting practice.
It was after batting practice.
It was after batting. They
Yeah.
go back inside, so they're in the locker room. He's probably in his office doing last minute lineup
Yeah.
changes.
It was before he wrote the card, because
Yep.
so it's after batting practice. He probably hadn't wrote the card yet, and he is literally saying, "All right." They probably took it to where it was like, "Let's see if he can start getting warmed up, and if he's ready to go, he'll go. If he's not, he won't." So it was probably somewhere in there.
Coach, I don't feel good. All right, fine, we'll sit you.
All right, see you.
So yeah, the first person you're supposed to give that information to about the pitcher being scratched is LSU.
Jay's over there
And-
scratching the plate, waiting for the
Instead, he
lineup card.
says, "Hey,
Matt
hurry
Montgomery's
up!"
back and forth like, "Hey, we need it." Bill's like
Yeah.
calling down, "Hey, we need it." Nah, I ain't got it.
Not only did he say hammer, he said hurry.
Hurry.
They're gonna change this soon.
Hey, hurry up and hammer this bet.
He's walking so slow in the tunnel.
They are. I mean, I can't ignore you anymore. I can't ignore them anymore. Hurry up. So he makes the bet. This happens, and so Bert is going to get the brunt of the punishment. Bohannon avoids jail time, 3-year probation, only a $5,000 fine,
But needs to find a new.
but he's gonna figure out a new job because
needs to find a new field to work in.
you ain't coaching.
LSU was minus 225. And let's not get this lost. He was betting on LSU. Like, it's not the Pete Rose scenario or the Kayshawn scenario. I'm betting on myself. It was him betting on LSU to win. And LSU was minus 225. I don't even know what the odds would be if you put up even $100,000 at minus 225. It's not going to come close to the salary you make of $500,000 a year that you passed on by getting caught. Like, it's not worth the squeeze.
Not at all.
It is
Like, at all.
It is for the Christmas push, bro.
Do you think he was like, this can't be his first time?
No.
Yeah.
No. Like,
Yes, it was. It's the first time got caught.
Never done anything like this
Look,
before.
Swing and missed.
this isn't
I
like
won't
me.
do it again, I swear.
This isn't like me. I'm not that person. I'm not this person.
I don't usually kiss on the first date. Okay, like,
this is
not
not.
what
I don't
do.
usually do this. Well, yes, you do. No doubt. You don't go. You didn't think about. Oh, I'm gonna get this information. Oh, let me text them and make a bet randomly, out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Without having done that before in your life, right? So that happened. Now, the fact that there's been enough information come out on these betting situations that you would think these people would learn their lesson. Like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I've got to make sure that I'm very buttoned up. Right? Now, my point in saying this is the Keyshawn thing. This had to be a ring, right? Like, he wasn't making the bets himself always.
No, he would have had to have averaged in a 24-hour day 22 bets a day.
Right.
And
But,
he's
like,
at practice.
No doubt. Like, he had to have, like, a
ring.
service or paying some guy, like, hey, this is what we're doing. I'm paying you. This is my account. You use my account and make the bets. Like
Here's
a
the
bot, a
password.
computer or something.
Go Tigers.
All right? Like, that had to be the case.
Absolutely. There's no way.
You had multiple people making bets on your account.
And you had, like, I guess Keyshawn probably could have footed the bill, like put in an initial, $100,000, I think what was in the account. And then somebody probably they all put the same parlay in, and they all hit.
No, I don't even think they're putting that. I think.
No, the way they got to 500,000, I would imagine was like everybody put in like a big chunk of change on the 5-game parlay that hit. And
Yeah.
But he had people running around. I would imagine
No doubt.
that were using his account because it's nearly impossible for one
I
person
have
to
a
put in all those
feeling.
bets.
I have a feeling that it wasn't his idea. I bet. I don't know anything about this.
Well, there's been another story that has surfaced with Keyshawn in the NFL where they are now looking into him if he was putting any bets down while he was with the Patriots. So the NFL is doing their due diligence. So we will find out that information also, or if they just kept the ring going. Like, this is a good thing in college. Get the band back together in Foxborough.
Yeah, I just got the feeling that all of those bets didn't come off of Keyshawn's fingers.
Nope.
There's
And
no way.
I have a feeling that I think that the architect of so said ring is somebody that we don't know. I'm willing to bet. Yet.
Somebody in the inner circle.
Yeah, like I don't think that it was Keyshawn's idea. If I had to say. I don't know anything. I have zero facts of the information.
Doesn't matter if it's his idea. He's
No, it's
complicit.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No, I'm not taking anything away from it.
I just wish he would have logged in.
It's
and
going to
went-
be bigger. It's going to be bigger than. I think it's bigger than what actually.
I just wish he would have logged in and went and changed the
Screen
login name. Like,
no,
that's-
huge fan.
I don't really
This
get
guy's
that.
always betting on Keyshawn Booty. Keyshawn
get that
Booty
one.
01. Huge fan.
At least like LSU Tigers 01 or something. I'm sure that game that's already taken.
Yeah, it's mine.
That's yours.
Yeah.
That's yours. LSU Tiger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Underscore.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette 7, like could have got him in real heat. Just my favorite player.
Oh man.
I don't know. I just feel like you learn your lesson on that kind of stuff. Don't you?
Well, Bohannon was doing it at the same time Keyshawn was doing it.
True.
Maybe they were betting together. Maybe he knows enough.
Maybe that was part of the circle.
Do you think he gets in trouble if he does it at LaBerge?
Hey, you think?
Yeah, at least like, oh, everybody's betting on LSU here.
Hey, here's a
Yeah.
question. I always wonder stuff like this, like when people get that deep into it. Like I would imagine that Keyshawn was actually the one making the bet on
Keyshawn.
Do you think he like even looked at the odds, or he was just like, I'm good for this? Like
Could've
I
been
looked
any
at the
number.
numbers, like like these odds really don't make sense. I'm not playing that. Or you think he just looked at how much?
83.5 in the
Give me
Tide.
That's it.
What? I got 83.5 today. What you mean?
2 targets, 20 yards, and 6 drops.
Stop. That's ridiculous. Stop.
Dropped 2
Six.
touchdowns.
He did drop 2 touchdowns.
He did drop a touchdown.
And he dropped
6.
one over the middle.
6.
He dropped 4 at least.
Oh my god.
for that Florida State game.
I can think of the 4.
And then he ran some really bad routes.
Yeah, his head was. I mean, trying to. How can I make a 20-yard touchdown an 80-yard touchdown?
Or how do I not get the ball thrown to me because I'm running my route at a snail's pace? Like I'm running this route at 50%, and I'm not even out of my route by the time I'm supposed to be.
I'm not looking for the ball.
Yeah, right.
It was Jaden's fault, though.
Slant route in the end zone was the worst. Anyway, Ryan gets that. Huh?
I do remember he, after that game, I think he deleted his social media or like made it. I don't remember.
Wrong account, dog.
I wonder if it was because of the comments or if it was because of, man, I just lost that money I bet on, because we don't know how much that bet was.
That's where the group chat was in Instagram.
Damn, Carl Weathers died.
Who that?
You know Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers is the boxer.
Yeah. Wow.
Apollo.
Yeah, he faces Rocky.
Apollo Creed.
Man.
Oh, he's been dead. The Russian killed him.
You're stupid.
You need help.
You're stupid.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up.
Bill Withers and Carl Weathers, both up there.
Yeah, they are. Before we get to the end of this thing,
Yeah, we should talk about LSU baseball a little.
that's what I'm about to get to. So, the SEC announced the 2024 TV schedule, right? And this is what kind of bugs me. I think last year you saw the growth of college baseball, like how it's moving forward and how it's growing. You would imagine that you want to keep that growing. And you would imagine that a way to do that is to televise the best conference in college baseball nationally on more games. LSU's got 13 games nationally, or 13 TV games that are going to be televised nationally. 2 on ESPN2, 2 on ESPNU, and 9 on SEC Network. That's the most in the SEC. That's great. Now, you're going to have SEC Network Plus, where you can watch every game, but it's not the same as popping on Cajun Island. What?
Oh, you don't have headphones on. That's for the crowd.
Oh, what'd you say?
Not going to out my guy.
You're not going to out it? It's not like popping on, ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPNU and saying, oh, our SEC Network, and say, oh, LSU's playing, baseball's playing, let me go turn it on and watch it, because everybody's got access to that. Now everybody's got access to ESPN Plus. And to me, that's kind of a disservice. Like, what are you televising?
I guess they probably have contracts with like softball, women's basketball, other baseball teams. I know that they can make unlimited streams, but you want people to sign up for the service. The best way to do that is to have a frenzied LSU fan base. Like, I want to watch the baseball game. I'll buy it right now.
I understand that, but like,
supply and demand. They're doing it on purpose.
You still have it, but like, let's make more games. Like, I mean, you should have bigger, like the big SEC conference games should be televised nationally. Like, that's good. That gives you more money. That gives the SEC more money, right? Doesn't it? Viewership. Like, you want to see that more popularity? No.
I think that's probably contingent on the deal with ESPN. Like, we'll put this behind a paywall. Like, it's not the biggest game.
I don't know. I disagree.
Well, yeah, because I disagree more than anybody because I don't want to pay for it.
It's not even about the paywall, man. I have no problem paying for it. I'm just talking about if you're trying to grow a sport. I mean, there's more games on women's college basketball on ESPN, nationally televised. That sport's grown over the last 3 years, don't you think?
I feel like it's because when they go to the table with these, I could be completely wrong too, but I feel like it's because when they go to the table with these conversations, they use the history numbers that they have, right? And they're using, we only see this and this when you're on this. And it's like, well, yeah, you have it behind paywalls and on these channels. Of course they're not being watched. How about you throw one on a Friday night right now and let's see what that one does? How about you advertise that and you market that and throw it on and let's see what it does? Like you do for some of these, women's basketball games and all this other stuff.
I know you can't put them all on SEC Network because you have gymnastics and you have softball. Like, that's fine too. But you have ESPN2, which, like, nobody watches ESPN2.
The dudes.
I don't watch ESPN2, but if there's a game on there, I will. At least it's on on the networks. ESPNU, like, you have the ability.
Two gets turned on when I know
ESPN
there's a game
News,
on it. All of those get turned on when I know there's a game on it.
You have the ability to do that. So that's just, LSU baseball is going to be
All of their out-of-conference games are on SEC Network Plus, with a save few that are on ESPN Plus only. Southeastern and Rice are on ESPN Plus. So if you have SEC Network Plus, I think they run in the same. You get both of them
Right.
in the same bucket. But the SEC Network, it's pretty much you got Arkansas on ESPN2. Like the SEC games, Game 3 of Arkansas is on SEC
doubt.
Network Plus. Like that shouldn't happen.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's the big SEC games or big out of conference. Hey, you're playing Texas.
Those haven't been
three-game
announced yet.
series. Huh?
That little tournament hasn't been announced yet.
No, I know. But, like, if you just had a conference series against them, like.
But that also goes to my theory of, okay, I fed you a little bit of here's a little bit of a taste. Here's a little bit more of a taste. Okay, Game 3, if it's 1-1, Arkansas, LSU tied, Game 3, I think I might have to buy it.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. That's just, I get it. It's just, it's a growing sport. And I feel like there's a way to grow it more. I mean,
It's also baseball.
ESPN's not, but it's not Major League Baseball. It's a different baseball that's easier to watch. You're not watching it. It's not getting thrown in your face all day, every day. You're getting to watch a weekend game against, top tier
No,
competition.
I'm saying it's just baseball and their model of not really
Yeah,
trending.
but this is different. I mean,
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, you don't see any baseball on ESPN. Spring training is this month. Spring training is in 2 weeks.
Haven't heard a word about it.
You haven't heard one thing about Major League Baseball on ESPN. That's an issue. The Baltimore Orioles just sold their organization for $1.7 or $2.7 billion. That's cheap for a Major League Baseball franchise. That's very cheap. It's just, that's not good. And like I have a problem with that. Like they don't push any of that. But that's neither here nor there. LSU baseball is going to be fun to watch. So it's something that I want everyone to be able to watch it, especially when you're not here. Look, those Nebraska fans that love LSU and they go to Omaha, they'd love to watch it without having to pay $15 a month or whatever it is just to watch LSU. Like even if it's only 15 games a year, 20 games a year.
You want to bring back Tiger Vision.
Can't do that. I mean, that's what SEC Network Plus is.
Yeah.
It's Tiger Vision.
Ronnie was ahead of his time.
Well, he didn't start Tiger
Jumbo
Vision.
Sports Network.
Jumbo Sports Network. But I mean, you want to talk about LSU baseball? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, I thought some of the stats were interesting. First day of the scrimmage.
Yeah, the stats are good. Pitching wise, well, let's go offensively. Tommy came on here and talked about how doesn't feel like he's ready yet. He wants more at bats. Yesterday went 2 for 3, home run, and 3 walks. I think the 3 walks are, to me, people say, oh, it's concerning because the pitcher's like, no, I think it's more positive for Tommy because he understands, like, I'm going to have to
Like we talked about on Wednesday.
make sure I get on base. Exactly. Braswell, 2 for 3 with a double and RBI. I saw a video of him hitting that double. He looks good. I like his swing. Like, he has that kind of a little steep through the zone, but, like, kind of stayed through it. He's taller and lankier than I thought he was, at the plate.
Yeah.
Brady Neal 1 for 3 with a homer, 3 RBIs. Paxton Kling 1 for 3 with a home run. That's a grand slam. Like, you're having guys juice some balls out. The weather's better right now, so it's not like the weather, like the wind is crushing it. It's not super cold, but I think all of that's encouraging. And then you look at Nate Ackenhausen. I think he's the guy that people people are forgetting about him. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. That's pretty good.
Plays.
That definitely
That
plays.
plays.
Holman, 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. Now, here is my take on that. We talked about pitchers building up. You already have Luke Holman at 4 innings. Luke Holman's going to have another start next week, right? And that'll be his last start before the regular season. So I would imagine his pitch count next week's probably going to be 75 pitches. He's probably going to get to the 5-inning mark, finish that, and then be ready to go, 6 innings, 75, 90 pitches for the opening weekend. Nate Ackenhausen pitched He's at 4 innings, so they're actually obviously building him up to be a starter, which looks like he may be the midweek guy, at least to start the season. Here's some of the highlights. I think
Courtesy
Nate.
of Jacques Doucet and WFB.
Courtesy of Jacques Doucet. I think Nate's going to end up being the midweek guy to start the year. And so that's 4 guys that you have that have a lot of experience on the bump. And, that's his pitch. That's what he does well. So,
and you got to see Nate a couple of extended starts, especially when you kind of needed him. Was it Florida game 2 where he was the starter and kind of got you before it absolutely erupted? That was a close game, and he was pitching well up into the 3rd, where he was kind of, you didn't know what you were going to see from him, and you kind of got a little taste of him being a starter, but still think he'll be in that Riley
he's going to be a swing guy. He's going to be the Cooper
role.
That's what you're about to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 100%. But I think all this is encouraging. It's hard for me to read too much into these scrimmages because at this point it's like.
What you were about to say.
What?
Nothing.
You thought what I was going to say?
Uh-huh.
What do you think I was going to say?
A lot of Rileys out there.
A lot of what? A lot of Rileys out there?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
I'm confused.
It's okay.
You thought I was going to say something else?
Mm-hmm.
Did I sound like I was going to say something
might have
else?
been a Freudian slip, almost. We'll move on.
Okay.
What about Riley Cooper?
I don't know.
See Nate in that role?
I'm confused. I can see Nate in that role. I'm confused, but it's okay. We'll move on.
Yeah,
We'll move
sure.
on. It's hard for me to read too much into these scrimmages, just because they're scrimmages. 2, these guys are they're about ready to move. I know Tommy is in a position right now where he's trying to get ready, and hadn't had those at bats. But all these other guys, they're starting to feel it, and they're probably like, I'm ready to get over this. So
They play again today.
Yeah.
they play today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Yeah.
So 4 games in a row.
Played 8 last night.
And Nate went 7?
6. No, 4.
4?
Innings pitched, 7 strikeouts.
Strike 7 punchies. Okay. Who do you think goes today?
Hurd. It'll probably be Hurd today, and then another one against someone else against him, and then probably Gage jump, and then someone against Gage. Because they're not going to throw Holman, Thatcher, and Gage on the same, either one of those on the same day if that's going to be your weekend rotation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
does him throwing Holman today, does that make you think he's going to pitch on Friday?
I don't know. Kind of makes it feel that way, but he also threw on Thursday. So if Thatcher throws today, is he just
Keep
saying,
him in the
Thatcher,
routine?
you're the Friday guy, is just the way it kind of fell with the scrimmages.
Yeah.
And we'll give Holman an extra 2 days rest
Yeah.
for the Saturday. I don't know. Maybe you can look at it both ways. I'm not 100% sure on the mindset there, but
If you're the coach.
I get the feeling it's going to be Thatcher.
That's
right. I think not, and it doesn't even mean that maybe Holman isn't capable of doing it. He obviously did it in the league last year. But I do think because of what he did, because of what he means to Jay, because he was one of Jay's guys that came in, that Jay brought here as well, you would believe that, hey, I'm giving you the chance to do this, and I want you to be able to do this, and it doesn't mean anything against Holman, right? Here's your chance. Go take the ball and go do it.
And Jay's shown the ability to juggle superstars and people finding buy-in and having roles on the team that they probably wouldn't have elsewhere. Like you see Holman come over as a Friday night guy from Alabama. If he gets pushed to Saturday, that's kind of why you came here, to have some protection. You want to be a Friday night guy. I don't know how much that means to pitchers, but I'd imagine whenever you transfer, I'll be the Friday night guy. But if
in
you're
the SEC,
Jay,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if
you go out there and you dominate, you're getting drafted where you need to get drafted.
And if you're Jay, it's like Thatcher. I know you weren't here, Luke, but kind of earned this on our Omaha trip. From what I saw last time, I think he's earned the right to be able to
For sure.
throw on Friday.
For sure. I agree with
It's
you.
a bigger deal at LSU than probably 95% of the country of Friday night, even against VMI.
For sure. You want to be that Friday night guy. It's like the opening day starter in the big leagues, right? You're the opening day starter one time.
Yeah. But he was already that, and he chose to move on from that place. So you would imagine he chose to move on in the sense of, well, I want to come win as well. So what does it take to do that?
Right.
And I think he would relinquish the opportunity to do that to somebody like Thatcher, who was here, who finished the year the way he did, who is supposed to be what he's supposed to be. He'd be like, bro, I don't care. Just get me out there. Like, if I know I'm starting, get me out there.
You had 2 first-rounders last year in the Mount, right? Or first and second. You had 2 first-rounders. You had number 1 overall pick, and then you had the 30 whatever overall pick. In 2011, UCLA had the number 1 overall pick as a Friday night guy, which was Garrett Cole, and then their Saturday night guy was number 3 overall. So it doesn't matter. Like, if you're good and y'all are both really good, that's great for the team. And so it doesn't matter if you're Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're that good, you're going to get drafted where you should get drafted. And you just have 2 guys that
Can do it.
You know?
Yeah, you come here, and I like, not even saying that he should be mad, but I would think somebody would have you could bring yourself down. Down. It's not even down. I would think you would have the humility and understanding that, all right, maybe through halfway during the season, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and if he's not, that I'll get moved to that spot. But other than that, there's no harm, no foul in me having to do it on Saturday, and he's doing it on Friday, and we're a better team.
Right.
Or else I'll just stay where I'm at. Like, right. I had a great year doing it already. Like, why would I not just stay where I'm at?
What do you think of the new format for the SEC
That's what I'm about to get to. Okay. So, we obviously go to the SEC tournament.
It sounds like it's going to make a better trip for us next year.
No doubt, right? I mean, with the conferences expanding, like, to me, it makes sense to do this.
5 days? What?
5 days. We were there for 1 day last year.
I know. We were there quick in and out. Literally a sprint. We ran a suicide.
I mean, I don't know if I could do one day again.
Huh?
You got to do like 2 or something.
Yeah.
1 day was tough. In a sense of just like what we had to do. Like, we'd have flown there, yeah, no big deal. 1 day.
You can't fly there, though.
I know.
I know.
That's
Unless
my
you got a
point.
PJ.
I know.
How cool could that trip be?
That'd be amazing.
Make
I
a
mean,
call.
it'd be a 30-minute flight, 45-minute flight.
Touchdown.
Just get there, get back. It'd be great.
That it is. What's the drive? 8.5?
No,
9?
what the hell are you talking
6?
about? 5.5 hours.
Felt like
I thought
5
it felt
hours.
very short, the drive.
I mean, I'm used to taking that drive, so just whatever. Like, I didn't really care, but that's not that bad. 5.5 hours is, for me, it's not bad. You get over 8, and I'm like, hey, yo, this is OD. It's a little much.
Once you hit, the 5-hour mark, and you still.
You got to get past like that 3-hour mark, and then you
Yeah.
get kind of numb, and then next thing you know, you're there. No big deal.
Maybe
Okay.
We did the Twitter Spaces on the way back.
Yeah, we did do that.
We did do that.
That was good.
It was tough.
That was good.
That was good. What for the format and what LSU has done.
This is in 2025, not this year.
2025, exactly.
This is when Texas and Oklahoma come into the league.
For the 2025 format, where
And just not to confuse everybody listening, Texas and Oklahoma are coming in 2024, but the baseball season is not till 2025. So this is
they're not in the league yet.
yes.
And so for the new format, it will obviously seeding will still be based on the regular season SEC standings. We'll move to single elimination, in which all 16 teams will automatically qualify. 5 through 8 receive a single round bye. The top 4 seeds will earn the first 2 rounds. So there's
It's like basketball, right? Doesn't in like the basketball, I'm pretty sure
SEC
that the
tournament?
top 2 seeds or top 4 seeds get 2-round bye. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's how it is.
But this year it's double elimination, correct?
It's the same as it has always been this year.
And
in
next year it's
2024.
single elimination.
Next year, single elimination. All 16 teams will qualify for the tournament. You said you got 8. The first 8 are going to have a bye. The top 4 are going to have 2 byes. So they are automatically going to be in the 3rd round before their first game. The 5 through 8 are going to be in the 2nd round, their first game. And 9 to 16 are going to have to play that first round game to go on to the next round, right? Single elimination, which I like. Mm-hmm. It's the SC tournament. Like, it shouldn't have to be drawn out that long. Now, with that many teams, you can't have double elimination. It's too many.
Maybe they're a week.
And that's some
and a half.
some tournaments can say, okay, you have the first round, single elimination. Then once you get to the quarterfinals, double elimination.
Couldn't do it. They would be
that's
literally.
too much.
They'd literally be having first pitch at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's too much.
Or it would be a month-long tournament. Like,
Too much.
One way or the other.
And with
It's going to still be a 6-day tournament.
And with
starting on
how
Tuesday.
LSU, I guess last year is probably the best example, especially under Jay, how they handled the SEC tournament. Do you kind of shift your expectations for what LSU does there, considering?
I think it all depends on the season.
Right.
right? Like, I think that there's always an emphasis on winning. You want to win the tournament. You want to win the SEC championship like that. That is for sure what you want to do. But you don't want to do that at the expense of ruining guys or hurting guys going into the postseason, especially if you've already got the national seed locked up.
It just depends on how you show up to the tournament, right?
Right. Now, if you're healthy.
Everybody's in different spots.
Right.
Know?
If you show up healthy and you show up everybody ready to go and you show up like, okay, we're playing well.
Baseball.
You play baseball, and if you win, you win. You don't ever try not to win. If you show up like you did last year, banged up, you've already kind of not locked in your national seed. You're just trying to go and make sure you get your guys work. You do it that way too, right? Now, if you end up winning, like if they ended up winning, they're be fine with it.
And I think it also depends on how you're playing as well. Like whether you're still winning games but not really playing well, and or whether you're still, which is usually not a thing at that time of the year going through the SEC. Like if you're really not playing that well, you're probably gonna be dropping some games, right?
No doubt.
If you go into that weekend or that tournament and you're not playing that well, it's a great time for you to kind of put all the chips on the table and say, hey, we need to get back into playing winning baseball. Here's a great opportunity to do it, as opposed to, let's just make sure we get out of here healthy. You know what I mean? Like it also depends on how you're playing at that time of the year. LSU last year banged up a little bit, still playing well-ish, but you knew it had a lot to do with we need guys that need to get healthy. So in that sense, it's like, hey, we're gonna get the work we need to get in, if you will, but like we're not gonna blow everything out to win this tournament.
Who won it last year? South Carolina or A&M?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, last
Vanderbilt.
year, Vanderbilt.
And then they got bounced in the regional, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think that there's a theory, where I don't think Jay threw Skeens.
He did.
Did he throw him the first game?
He threw him everybody that needed to throw through. Remember, he threw.
He just didn't. He went like 4 innings.
That's what it was.
Yeah. He threw Thatcher and. Didn't he throw Thatcher? Didn't Thatcher come in a game?
Yeah, he threw like 6 scoreless in the game or something.
Yeah, he came in. He didn't start the game, right? Where he had a pitcher that
Was it
came
Ty
in.
Floyd?
Ty Floyd, right? Ty Floyd, I don't think started. Oh no, they did. They played 3 games. That's right.
That was really like the
That's
birth
right.
of
That's what
like
happened.
Thatcher had obviously had those 3 bad outings within a year, but that tournament was where you saw like, oh, this looks way different to me.
Y'all were
I know he had
saying
been
y'all
pitching.
were saying that during the game.
I know he had been pitching better and the numbers had been better on the back end going into the tournament, but that game, that outing, I was like, okay, if he can hold on to this, you got something right here.
Yeah.
And he did, and that's what you expect to see out of him this year because he's that talented. He's that kind of player.
Yeah, so I think last year, based off of how the season had played out, I think they did it the right way. All 3 starters got innings. All 3 starters got to throw. All 3 starters got to stay on schedule. That, to me, is the most important thing, especially if you've already locked up. LSU was, the number 3 national seed or 4 national seed? Maybe 5. They're a top 8 national. Doesn't matter. They're a top 8 national seed, and they had that locked up. They knew they had that locked up. And so now at this point, it's like, hey, make sure that we get 3 games so that we can get our guys, all of our guys, an opportunity. Because remember, they lost. I think I said if they lost the first game, and they had to, it was a double elimination game, and they're about to lose the second game, you were going to see both pitchers pitch in that game to make sure they get their work in.
Yeah.
And so, luckily, they didn't have to do that. But I'm looking forward to it, man. We're not going to go to Minute Maid, but we are going to go to the SC tournament, and, hopefully they make it to Omaha, and we will be in Omaha again. So,
Good time there.
great time there. Great time. All right.
Boy, was it hot, but it was a good time.
It was hot. It's going to be hot again. It's
Dudes
always
just
hot.
figured it out again that time, huh?
Just figure it out, dude. We're dudes. Just figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Airbnb is the way to go. We'll do a lot earlier this year.
Or just hop on a bachelor.
Yeah, like 3 hours earlier than we did.
Yeah.
Hop on just go to a bachelor party and drive there. Figure it out.
And then you fly back, get there again.
And then go again.
Yeah.
Fly back.
That's great stuff.
Almost flew back again
Yeah.
for the championship.
All right. We got our Seggies today. You got a mistake of the day?
I do have a mistake of the day.
Mistake of the day is brought to you by our friends at Doe's Eat Place. What we got, Lloyd?
The mistake of the day, considering it is Only happens once a year. It is February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, famous movie made about this holiday, I guess that's what you would call it. But the groundhog did not see his shadow, which means spring
Nothing. It means nothing.
Spring
It
is
means
here.
Nothing.
You've hit on
Or they might actually have a nice opening day this year.
It means nothing.
You hit on old Puxatawny Phil, batting 36%
Not
on
good.
shadow on spring versus fall. But the history of all of this is extremely interesting. There's a whole groundhog club that celebrates the occasion every February 2nd, and they have a website. It's called The Inner Circle, and they go to, they go to Gobblers.
Say what?
Yeah, hold on, let me find it. Regardless, Gobblers.
Yes.
Gobbler's Knob.
Whoa.
With the Inner Circle, and they read a script. They do this whole thing. They only speak Hedgehoganese,
Whoa.
in which the
real people.
Puxatawny
This
Phil,
is people.
yes,
Like human beings.
Yes, Puxatawny Phil will tell the High Council if he saw a shadow or not, and that's how they make the formal decree. They
So
read-
they're speaking his language.
yes, only the High Council, the highest member there, can speak Hedgehoganese.
So the only highest member there can make up what.
Yeah, if it's
Phil
what he
said.
thinks it is.
Okay.
And I say all that to say this.
Do they still have the high council?
Oh yeah, they were out there. They're out there.
Is
this
that how the
morning.
guy holds him up?
Yes.
The guy holds him up. He's the only one that can talk to him.
In the
He's
top
the only
hat.
one that understands the language.
Yes.
So does the high council guy ahead of him? Does he teach the?
He's the one that
Does
holds.
he
the,
have an apprentice?
yeah, he holds the scroll.
And he teaches him how to speak the language. Is that how that works?
Yeah, it gets passed down through.
Okay.
And there's only one hedgehog, and it's Puxatawny Phil. He's been there since 1886.
I don't know. I think that the hedgehog has died.
No.
Why would you say such a thing?
He drinks a special elixir,
Oh, is that it? So then that's kind of a
elixir-
cult now.
the elixir of life,
Yeah.
which allows him to live forever. His wife doesn't get to drink that, so they weren't able to live together. But the real part of this story is Bill de Blasio, back in the day, 10 years to the day, tried this event, and unfortunately he dropped a hedgehog to where it ended up falling on his head and died.
Man, I got a whole nother mistake of the day for you too that I
And-
want to bring up after you're done.
Okay. And then, so here's the video of Bill de Blasio trying to have his own Hedgehog's Day in Staten Island. And this has become a massive cover-up, and he did his first interview today.
Cover up.
Yes, they tried to deny that it happened. Even the zoo tried to deny that it happened. But here's the event. Of And he falls on his head, cracks
See,
his
I don't know
skull.
if he dropped him. I think it looked like the hedgehog just jumped.
But this is his first time in public speaking about it, where he was asked. This has been a long-running thing since he dropped it. He had to watch it behind plexiglass the next year, and then after the scandal broke, he was like, first of all, they didn't even tell me I was doing this. I had no idea what I was doing. They threw me a glove, and they said, we're about to hand you a hedgehog. He's like, what the fuck's a hedgehog? And they handed it to him, drops it, but that is...
Had it dropped it?
Had it dropped it, killed it, and then the zoo and Bill de Blasio tried to run a cover-up until today, where he finally released, after 10 years, the entire scandal.
Wow.
So there's your mistake
Hedgehog
of the day.
scandals.
Bill de Blasio.
Got a lot going on.
Puxatawny Phil.
It's a good one.
Maggie.
Mistake of the day number 2 for you. We talked about gambling. So I remember the story. Jacksonville Jaguars employee Amit Patel pleaded guilty on stealing all that money.
Yeah.
So he pleaded guilty to stealing $22.2 million using the Jags virtual credit card program.
I love this guy.
Right? Out of that $22.2 million that he stole, he lost about $20 million on daily fantasy and sports bets.
Hell nah. Ain't
How
no
much?
way.
$20 million of that $22.2 million he stole.
Ain't no way.
The Jaguars have asked FanDuel to reimburse them.
Oh,
FanDuel obviously said no. They're unwilling to pay back the money.
what did I ask?
I need you to pay back the $20 million this
We
guy
didn't
stole
spend
from
that.
me. Hey, it's your fault that he stole it, dude. It's not our fault.
You work for y'all?
This man stole $22.2 million instead of using that for something, doing something else.
Hey,
he's
do you remember,
$20 million of
wait,
it.
Do you
on
remember
bet.
they came out and said like the list of things that he had bought, and they were all like, "Yeah, that's like some pricey stuff, but it ain't as much as I thought he'd be buying with $22 million."
Right.
That's why.
That's why. $20 million of it's going to those gambling accounts. Not very good gambler.
He was
I don't
trying to
think.
turn that 20 into 50, and it didn't work out that way.
Do you think that he put it all in his account so it couldn't be like traced back to him?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just hiding out in there, or did he lose it? Like it's
I think he
documented?
lost it.
Because if you're trying to bury some money, that's a great way to say it's in an account.
I don't think it's in the
From
account. I
FanDuel?
think it's in FanDuel's
Yeah.
account.
I think he lost it to FanDuel. That's why he wants FanDuel to pay it back.
Yeah. Like I think it's crossed
Like
over
if it was
to
still
the
in
other
his
side.
account, they could go and
Yeah.
get it out
Yeah.
because hey, this is stolen money.
Yeah, I think it's on the other
How
side now.
bad do you have to be at gambling?
That's another mistake of the day. That was
How
just popped
reckless?
up on my
How
screen.
reckless do you have to be?
No doubt.
Oh, let me just throw like literally. You stole the first million. Like, go ahead, throw a good 30,000.
I'll get it
on
back.
this.
I mean, you could lose that in a March Madness tournament for sure. If you're betting like a,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he's probably first bet was probably like a 10-leg $1 million parlay. Like I could make $100 million.
He'd be Buff
Yeah.
from Back to the Future. I always think about that, man. If I just had the sports almanac just for one day, what would I do? I'd put together this outrageous parlay, right? That's how you do it.
Right.
Crazy parlay.
And like, there's the age-old question of what would you do if you could go back in time with the knowledge you have now? And that's literally the only answer I have is sports gambling. Like, I wouldn't be able to change anything. I
Oh, the
wouldn't be
knowledge
able-
of like knowing what happened.
Like if you went back to whatever year and like, oh, the internet hasn't been invented yet. Like, I don't know how to invent the internet. I don't know how to invent the iPhone. I literally would just know scores to games.
Or I would bet on the stocks of.
But yeah,
that.
but like Apple doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, back then it did. Then you
That's
know
what
when,
I'm saying. What
you
if
know
it,
when
like-
it does. Maybe you make the bet. You use the money. You use that money that you. So you get the dirty money.
Clean
and you
it.
Clean it by putting it into the stock market. And now all of a sudden you're a genius because you were visionary and you saw what was going to happen with the future and you saw all of the stuff
Why
with
don't
Microsoft.
you just do that in sports gambling?
Yeah, because then it's just a little dirtier. You know?
Yeah, it's illegal. And you got to clean this
A
money.
little more. Once you do it,
think
you-
they don't- you think they'll
because back then it was illegal.
Yeah.
So then you take the illegal money and
Clean
you
it.
clean it through the stock market because you know what stocks are
I
going to
can't
hit.
spend it.
This is not insider trading. It's just I'm a future. I'm from
I'm a
the future.
soothsayer.
I'm from the future. That'd be great.
Then you end up on like Apple's board,
Then you become this
tech
mogul,
mogul.
and you don't know what the heck's going on. That's great. And
What'd
then,
you do
then you make enough money. And you hire all the people who know what they're doing, and you just sit back.
You just do a Brian
You
Kelly.
go and you invest
From
in
my
it.
yacht.
Listen, you go and invest in Amazon early.
when Bezos is in the garage,
And
brother.
Bezos is losing
Be
money.
like, hey Jeff, listen, I got
I
something.
got a little seed capital for
Losing
you.
Just
money.
take this.
And you just keep
I don't
putting
even
money
want
in
to
it.
be your VC. I just want
Why are
to
you
take
putting
this.
money in this? Oh, I think this is the future.
I know what
future.
I believe in what you're doing. You run this. Here's this money.
Yeah. I
Take
want
this. Just make sure
That'd
you
be
make-
great.
Give me equity.
That'd be wonderful. You could do it.
49%.
Some people say if I could go back, I would just get the lottery ticket and win that, which also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's not nearly as much fun.
That's not that
it
much
depends
fun.
if
That's
you're-
like one day of fun. That's
Yeah.
not
Hey,
that
like
much
when it got to almost $2 billion, I'm just gonna go back to that time, and then I'm gonna put the numbers in for that. And
That's
I'm
not that
gonna-
much fun. It's just one day. Like I
and
want
you
to
got to
just keep having
travel
fun.
to like. You still have to. I guess if you fill out your own ticket, yeah.
That's what I mean.
gotta-
You know the
yeah.
numbers. You just go fill out your own ticket.
It's not nearly as much
It's
fun.
not that
as
much
you
No,
come
it's
in,
not.
yeah.
It's
But-
literally just one day. Like let me do this like every day.
Do you have to stay in the past or do you leave in this scenario? Because
Well,
if I
how
get
would
like
you-
teleported back, then I would do the lottery ticket. But if like you stuck me in 1986,
Well, I mean, Buff didn't go back.
right? I've never seen Back to the Future
Ever?
ever.
Not 1, 2, or 3.
I have no clue what's going on.
Wow, you should, Buff did that. Sports Almanac steals it from
And he bets
Marty
on-
McFly. When Marty McFly goes back to the science is trying to do something.
The flux capacitor.
Steals the Sports Almanac from him, finds out what it is, overhears him talking. Buff takes it, was able to go back in time, or his future self gave it back to his past self, and he used all the Sports Almanac to gamble and built this huge casino and basically ran the world.
Until
became
he
a really
got
rich
sent back.
person. Huh?
And he got sent back.
Well,
and he
then
lost.
Martin McFly had to fix it by going back. The
So
whole
he didn't
deal.
get to keep it.
Yeah, well, because he got caught.
We could tell the whole story because obviously Lloyd's the only human on earth that's never seen Back to
know.
the Future.
No,
You should watch it. You really should watch it. It's pretty good.
I just
a
know,
classic.
I know a couple of quotes from it from other movies. But
It's a classic.
Gun it to 88. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, it's a
That's all I
classic.
know about it.
It's a classic. You should do it. All right.
And the shoes.
Shoes are great. Curtain call is brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
And?
Me? What we got?
My curtain call goes to. Let me open this.
Wow.
Billionaire Peter Thiel backs doping in an Olympic-riddled event that he is throwing, the Enhanced Games. Billionaire PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel has invested in a drug-friendly sports contest styled as a modern reinvention of the Olympic Games, part of a movement embracing ways science and technology can enhance human performance that critics argue endangers both athletes and health and sport itself. I will be tuning into this.
No doubt am I going to be watching
What
it.
channel that's on? I got to see this.
You are saying, okay, we are going to make aliens, basically. You take,
What?
and this is going to be now doctors are going to be overseeing it and say, hey, we're going to make sure we make you optimal. And you are going to just, you may live till you're about 42, but we're going to make sure you can win some gold medals. You're going to be famous. You're going to be famous.
The Enhanced Games that will not test athletes for drugs or other performance enhancers at its events. It is not clear where the first competition will take place, but it's embracing the inclusion of they're taking Compound V.
Coach, the Enhanced Games.
I love that.
They are
The boys.
The boys, that's what I'm saying.
Olympic,
Compound V.
the Enhanced Games Village
Oh God,
is going to be
destroyed.
Wow. I mean, the amount of amphetamines and the amount of
Boy.
drugs that are going to be passed through that village.
them levels is going to be high.
Hi. Instead of used condom, it's going to be syringes
Hey, what do
in
y'all
a
use?
bucket.
Oh, I got this. In Russia, we got this special type of steroid created specifically for this. Oh, let me try that. Okay, here you go. Boom.
Think it'll help in curling? Absolutely. Melt the
You'll be
ice.
so laser focused on stuff.
They cut a promo and it was.
You may have some people die
That's fine.
in the competition. It's not fine.
It's not fine. That's
Then
why
you
they're
know what
bringing
you signed up
doctors
for.
on. That's why they're bringing doctors. That's
Yeah,
not
you gotta have it
fine.
monitored.
That's called huge lawsuit. Now the Enhanced Games are done. It's over.
That's the other part. How are they gonna like? They've got to the packet that you have to sign of like waivers has to be the size of a book.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
They cut a promo with the guy that has been doping and running track, and he broke Usain Bolt's record of the 100-meter dash already. He's like, but it doesn't count. It will now in the Enhanced Games.
So crazy.
So nuts, dude.
That's crazy.
Great. I mean, honestly, it's a great idea.
I would
watch it.
definitely
Yeah,
watch
we're
I'm
all
gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch
The
it.
only person that had a dump in his pants about it was Darren Ravel. He was like, "This is the sanctity of sports. What are you doing? You're promoting
Darren
this to
Ravel.
children." Absolutely.
dork.
What was Mark McGuire doing?
Barry Bonds.
Hit dingers.
Hit homer. Still gotta hit it.
Yeah.
Still gotta do it. Not everybody can't take steroids and be really good at something. You gotta have some athletic ability, but also enhance it with the steroids.
I would watch just to see what it would look like.
No doubt. What you got?
My curtain call is, so here's the thing. I didn't realize how much people were buying into this thing. Heard it a few times early in the week.
Enhanced Games.
Maybe that. Heard it a few times early in the week. It was like, that's pretty cool. Turn on TV today. He's on the Pat McAfee show, like ending up, like rounding out their like quarterback week, which is not really a coin thing. They just kind of happen to have a whole bunch of really good quarterbacks on the show this week, right? But flipping through social media, and I run into Drake's clothing line, October's very own, is putting out a Letterman jacket that is styled by none other than, well, the same person everybody else is talking about. So I'm going to give my love to one of the old GOATs, one of the absolute best that's ever played the game, and this is turning out to be what obviously everybody's buying into. So I'm expecting to see some Super Bowl commercials about it as well. But I'm going to give my curtain call to Joe Montana, and this is Joe obviously, styling this thing as well. But you got San Francisco 49ers, the team he played for and won Super Bowls for. You got Kansas City Chiefs, who I think he only got to the AFC Championship with multiple times, right? I think
they made playoff runs. The farthest he got was the AFC Championship.
Right. I think twice, 2 or 3 times, right? But guy was very good on both teams and very revered in both franchises. And this
Second most winning playoff quarterback.
Yep. This is the Joe Montana Bowl. So give him a little love.
You know what's crazy? He's got, I think it was 16 wins.
Yeah. Tom's got like 37.
35 wins.
35. It's
I think
ridiculous.
Pat Mahomes has 16,
And Pat's got like
14.
13 in like
14.
6 years. Yeah.
Pat's got 14. He's 2 behind second place, but he's got
miles to go.
he's
But he-
21
Yep.
from getting. Think about that. Think how successful Patrick Mahomes has been. As a
And you want to know the crazy part about it too? They've won the division and been.
Yeah, and
I think they've had
6 years.
but I think they've also had the first round bye. Like 4 or 5 of those times. So there's literally like 3 more games he could have if they just not winning first round, not getting the first round bye.
Right. But 21 more, yes, dude, just to tie Tom.
So 7 more years.
At least. It's crazy. And that's if he makes the playoffs every year.
That's 21 saying they're in at least the AFC Championship or NFC, wherever he is, and or in the Super Bowl if they're getting the bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Julian Edelman was telling a story on his pod about Tom. It's like he went to his place to go work out, and this is whenever I think Brady was going to surpass Joe Montana, and then his off-season workout, and he had the location of the Super Bowl written on the workout board, and Edelman was like, "Were you taking a trip? Like, what's that up there?" He's like, "Jules, that's the location of the Super Bowl. That's where we're going to win our last game." And he was like, "Oh, you chasing Montana?" He goes, "No, I'm chasing Jordan." And he's like, "Oh, shit. Like, I guess I'm done vacationing for the year. Like, I guess we're working out."
Yeah, Edelman's a great storyteller.
Yes. No,
Great
chasing
storyteller.
Jordan. Like, and he caught him and beat him. Got 7.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. All right. My curtain call with baseball right around the corner, spring training right around the corner. My curtain call, Baltimore Orioles, historic franchise, just sold to 2 billionaires.
2.
The
boys.
The boys bought the team. They are now the richest owner in baseball. They bought the team for let me see exactly how much. I think I have the link on there. Can you click on it?
I thought I saw 1.7, but I could be wrong.
$1.725 billion dollars. If it was million, that'd be a thing. So I think they got this deal at. I mean, it's the Baltimore Orioles.
By the way, the people who sold, I think, bought it for like $175 million.
Yeah.
When they bought it.
So it's a good ROI there. I think that buying it at $1.725 billion, I think that's a bargain for them, for these billionaires. I think they're going to go. Not only do they buy them, now you have an influx of young, energetic owners in baseball, which is important. They said, okay, David Rubenstein and Mike Arrighetti are the names of the billionaires. They buy it. Not only do they buy the team,
Days after. I'm about to say days after.
they go and make a trade for one of the best starting pitchers in all of baseball in Corbin Burns to come to Baltimore. Baltimore's already got a ton of young talent, maybe the best young talented roster in all of baseball.
They won the AL East last year.
They're winning the AL East. They're coming off their best season in I don't know how long. They have cornerstone pieces that are very cheap all over the field. They have young pitching. Now you're going to put one of the top right-handed pitchers in all of baseball in that rotation. And this comes days after these 2 private equity billionaires buy the Orioles. I think that's a great move. I think that's really good for baseball. I think that you need to start seeing that. I think what the Mets had last year was good. Like,
You think that deal
spend
came
money.
together in one day or no? Or you think they've been working on that for a while?
I mean, I would imagine that they're probably working on that for a while, but they gave him a
Chess,
they gave
baby,
him
not
they gave him a
checkers.
shortstop, they gave him a pitcher, I think,
Yeah.
and they gave him the 34th overall pick in the draft for next year. So that's my curtain call. I think that's really good. We need more of that.
I can't believe
all
that
right.
they sold him at this. I guess buy low, sell high. Like, the stock of the Orioles has never been as elite.
Well, I think the owner's about to die.
Oh.
So I think the kids of the owner wanted to get rid of it. They didn't want it anymore.
A state, baby.
Yeah, like I think they sold it, and then they bought 40% of it, and then once the owner, current owner, I forget what his name is, passes away, they're gonna take over the rest.
Okay. So, yeah, you don't want to get rid of an entire franchise. I feel like that's the dream.
Yeah, I mean they are getting rid of it. So I mean the purchase agreement is they are going to own 100% of it. It's just
Oh, okay. I thought
they've
were
already
gonna
bought
get
40% for right now
Oh,
until
I thought the kids were keeping 40.
the owner passes
What a
away.
couple of jamokes.
And I don't know if it's the kids. I don't know the whole story. I just know that's what happened. And maybe he doesn't have kids.
He just went
he'd
to the
imagine.
trust.
He'd
Yeah.
imagine. He'd imagine. I don't know. But yeah. That's
Good
all
for
we got
baseball.
today. That's all we got today. That was a good Friday show. We appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're getting a lot of traction on YouTube. Gaining some new subscribers. Love that. Please click the thumbs up button. That's always good for us.
Picking up.
If you can't watch us and you like listening to us, or anywhere you get your pods, Enjoy your weekend. LSU basketball plays tomorrow. We didn't talk about them today, but they play tomorrow. I think on ESPN or SEC
Network Plus.
I think it's on actually on TV.
I would imagine it is. They play against Arkansas, who has a litany of their own issues.
Yep, they're going through some things. Enjoy your weekend. The weather is beautiful today. Enjoy this weather. It's about to rain. It's going to rain all day tomorrow, but
You're going to get your 18 holes in.
I got a golf tournament tomorrow. Huh?
Nothing.
I got a nice golf tournament tomorrow. I got my strategy. I'm ready to go.
Easy.
Talked about it.
Easy day.
Club up, choke down, 75% swing all day.
All day. Still
All
hit at
day.
330.
For the
All
first
day.
5 holes.
Nope, all day. Now, it's hard to do that with a driver to choke down on the driver.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Okay, I'm gonna try it on the range. I'm gonna try it on the range then.
Controlled swing.
Control swing.
Keep yourself in play.
Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back live in studio on Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. We will have 2 guests from the baseball team. They started their own podcast.
I've heard a lot about them. Or a lot from
Looks
them.
good. Looks fun. They want to talk. They want to come on. So Travinsky and Malazzo are going to come on the show on Monday, talk a little bit about baseball, and
Little home and home?
Always gonna, little home and home. Always enjoy their conversation. So enjoy your weekend. Looking forward to Monday. We'll see you on Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. Enjoy your weekend. Love you. Peace.